Hey everyone, welcome back to the Masks Off podcast, the only podcast that somehow comes back after 6 months and decides to do it again. So, what have we been doing all this time? So we just finished our first semester of college, which is big. Most of us were coming from our senior years, and that's when we basically started this whole entire thing. Coronavirus really fucked with us. But in the end, I mean, hey, we're back after God knows how long. Anyways, so we have two returning members today. We have Marshall and we have Radaman, or Alex, our lovely editor now.
Yeah, I do tech stuff now. Also, I like it. Yeah, Corona really fucked us, homie. We started in Corona.
Yeah, I know we did, but the thing is, it's if you think about it long-term wise.
Damn, the name was convenient.
I know, right? It's almost like my brain worked for that one.
That's where all the police were outside my house for. It's because the mask.
I get it.
Put it on.
Yeah, I just refused to put the mask on. That's why it took so long. Anyways. So we actually have 3 new members today, 3 new guests. We've been trying to get people together, and we finally got them all in the same room. It's very nice. Anyway, so our first guest today will be Karionyte, or we'll call him Kari for here. Something funny. Say something funny.
My mom left when I was young. Hi, I'm Karionyte. Call me never card cage or anything of the sort, but I'm excited. Corona sucks. Masks are great. But here our masks are off. Podcast.
Felt that.
Hell yeah.
All right. So that was our first guest. Our second guest is Aaro, or we call him Jared. Say something funny. You seem to have that that charm about you. Say something funny.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. But the thing is, I'm not. So
we kick him out.
Get the fuck
I'm
out.
gone at this point.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm the funny roommate.
This is a fact. Anyway, so what do you do in your free time? Tell us.
So I'm starting streaming. I'm gonna be streaming near Automata.
Right.
On November 30th.
The game with 2B robot in it.
I actually got excited for that. I love that fucking game. I just got what was it? A friend of ours.
Several friends of ours.
We got almost everybody else fucking in the near. I take credit for that.
Yeah, you
Because I
should.
beat it first. Highly suggest, possibly the best game ever made.
Hey.
Please play it.
It's a valid option, but there's argument for there. And all right, so that's our second guest. Our third guest is Brian, a good friend of ours. So not that everybody else in here is not a good friend of ours, but we've known him longer. It's taken a while for him to get him on here. Say something funny. I hope you can find something funny to say.
My life is a joke. Does that count?
That is a funny quote. I will
I'm
take
just your friendly neighborhood gay here. How y'all doing?
That is a fact.
Wait, that's my thing. The friendly neighborhood part, not the gay part.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
All right, wait. Brian, I need a very detailed description of your gaming experience.
Yes. Your long portfolio.
Yeah,
what you've been through in the gaming industry.
of all of
Give us the play-by-play.
Who was the first character you really identified with in the most, deep way?
Who is not gay?
Well, shit. That
that
really
was my
just
option
narrows
too.
my list here.
It takes it down from 1 to 1.
Yeah, no. I'm probably the person with the least gaming experience here. So I don't know why y'all brought me on here, but thank you. I do appreciate it.
It was just because you're funny.
Oh, thank you.
At least we like to tell you you're funny.
Funny looking.
Hey, look,
Yeah,
I say
we
that to
brought him
myself. Hey, I say that to myself every day in the mirror. So I mean,
Oh my god.
All right, so enough of making fun of the new guests. That was a good, very good introduction. But anyway, so there's a lot that's happened in the time that we have not recorded anything. There is a secret episode that we don't talk about, but we will never release that ever again.
The beach episode?
The beach episode. The beach episode.
I wasn't in the beach episode?
We were at the
I
beach.
love bottle
This is the
episodes.
time where we all got in. And we,
If you subscribe to our OnlyFans,
that was the first time our masks were on that day.
Oh yeah, no, the masks are on. But if you sub to our OnlyFans, give us $1 million.
Yeah,
The masks will be off.
the lowest. It's a deal.
We'll take more than the masks off.
Yeah, this is the fact.
Socks off.
The socks off.
Socks off podcast, please. Yeah.
But yes, anyway, through this whole entire time, it's just been I don't know, it's just been crazy. I mean, we can all agree that in this period of time we have not recorded a lot of news has been kind of flying by. It's not that there hasn't been important news. It's been more of that most of it hasn't stuck or it's resolved itself. Yeah. But we do have 2 very important topics today. One that really connects close to me and a lot of the people in this room too, and then one that really connects to all of us because we're all. I hate using this word. We're all gamers.
Well, we are epic gamers.
Sorry. That makes it a little easier to say. Epic. The epic gamers.
This is gaming town.
Oh yeah.
This is the gamer room.
I like to think that I'm the epicest gamer because I actually did play
Shut the fuck up, you play Skyrim.
episodes.
I play Monopoly on my Xbox 360, so therefore I play with my friends.
So our first topic is.
All right. So, So our first topic is actually a fairly new one. So Nintendo just released a cease and desist for the Big House, I believe it was. which is a really big melee and ultimate tournament. I will say that being in the Smash community myself, it hit very close to home. I will say before I get into my piece, what we're gonna call this segment is #FreeMelee because that's that's where most of this is coming from. To kind of give you the really fast rundown, Slippy, right?
Yes, Slippy is the
okay.
mod.
Slippy is the mod that allows people to play Super Smash Bros. Melee online, because Melee itself on the GameCube did not have online built in. So Nintendo had sent a cease and desist to Big House and said, don't stream on Slippy. We don't want this, And again, rightfully their game, but then again, I'll save my piece for later. But it's a very big deal coming from the fact that it's Big House, which is one of the biggest Melee tournaments that we have. Anyway, this is big room for discussion. Let's kind of just take a second to talk about this.
I guess I'll go first, and then whoever.
Yes, we can all chime in.
Yeah. But so I'm a big modding emulation guy. I think I've expressed that multiple times. Big game preservation. This is not a surprising bit of news at all. Nintendo is known to take down fan projects of their works. Slippy is, as far as I know, completely legal. I'm just waiting for the day that Nintendo pulls a cease and desist order, and whoever they cease and desist has the means to challenge it in court. It's just they're kind of out of their depth here, out of their range. I'm very much so kind of, this is ridiculous. They're not making money off of Melee anymore. Melee is all secondhand copies. And are pirated copies being used? Absolutely. I think it'd be ludicrous to suggest otherwise, that the majority of the copies are legal. No, they're not. At the same time, Nintendo has not provided another way to play Melee. Melee is still a booming esport.
Mm-hmm.
To suggest otherwise, I mean, it is competitive with Ultimate.
Yes.
It is ridiculous. There is no reason to try to take down Big House. Slippy is perfectly legal. It's not hurting sales of Ultimate. It's not hurting Ultimate tournaments. The crowds are different enough. When I say they're competing, I mean both scenes are existing and happening. It's not out of their depth. For me, this is worry. I'm a big Project M fan, and Project M's already basically been taken down. I just hate seeing these kind of projects, these kind of community events coming up. I watched Omni's video recently, and I'm very interested to see if his thing on whether or not a charity event will happen based off of this. I'm interested.
Yeah, the $10,000 charity event that was coming up for this, and if Nintendo takes it down, that's not a good look.
No, it's a horrible look. It's just because they're using modded software and possibly pirated copies. That's money you're taking away from charity for honestly no good reason. So we'll see how that goes. I forgot which other thing. I think this is how Melee was almost started. How Nintendo kind of let blind eye it.
Yeah.
Just because it is what it is. Will this affect Ultimate? I don't think immediately. I think obviously because Nintendo is much more supportive of Ultimate, that's gonna ride its wave until we get another Smash. If we do, that's not for today. I think though it is something to keep in mind because there's going to come a time when we get another Melee. I think. Whether it's Ultimate, whether it's something down the line, whether Brawl comes back for God knows why.
Yes.
We're going to have more things like this, and it's a very bad precedent that Nintendo has set and is continuing to set, that they will not let their fans kind of participate in creating in their own media in the same way that the guys who make BlazBlue. Arxis.
Right?
The way that Arxis has,
or Capcom has done Street Fighter.
Right.
Capcom.
Rollback netcode was made by fans. Originally anyway, for the most part, to my understanding, there's no reason that Nintendo either cannot provide an alternative to Slippy, or just blind eye it.
And that's what I've been saying. Is I think that in general there could be an alternative if they gave us one. And the problem with Nintendo I'm pretty biased because being a competitive Ultimate player myself, I understand where they're coming from. I guess to an extent, but a lot of it is just you're providing a community that's been how long have they been going on now? It's they're more than 10 years. Melee's been going as a competitive game for longer than 10 years. And the thing is that they've grassrooted this whole entire game.
It was released in 2001.
Yes. So and they've been competitive for over
19 years the game's been released.
Yes.
It's still being played.
It's crazy. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. I'm possibly the worst person here to discuss any Nintendo topics, primarily because I'm no Smash player. I like my kids of age.
I felt that one.
Sorry, but I have to first, before I bring up my thought, I need to ask, do you consider Smash Melee to be abandonware? They're no longer making money off of this.
Just so I'm thinking, can you define abandonware?
Well,
Yes.
if it is what I recall it to be, it is no longer funded by the company and is no longer processed and created, and is now free. Is in with fair use because it doesn't exist anymore.
See,
100%.
I would say 2 out of 3 of those are correct, and that's the last part that's incorrect. Sadly,
Which one?
Fair use.
use.
It's absolutely, sadly, Nintendo does not take. And again, I'm coming from somewhere where I understand participating in Nintendo's run tournaments as well.
Yeah.
Like that's why as someone who's playing their tournaments too, it's not run well. And the problem is that even though they're not making money off of Melee, and this is technically not even something that they're messing with. They haven't messed with the community or anything except for put their name on a tournament, and they've basically had their sponsors pay for things instead. So Nintendo's not putting any money into these tournaments themselves. They're having sponsors do it. So this is not really funded, and they're not making any money off of Melee anymore. The community of Melee is basically running these tournaments. So when you go to like places like Big House or Pound or places like Evo, even, like if Evo did Melee again, they're like raising that money themselves. It's not Nintendo that's providing that.
And on top of that, Melee is no longer being, it's not in circulation. There is no new copies of Melee being produced to my knowledge. And the copies that do exist will run you $100, $150. That's ridiculous.
It is.
For one game, especially a game that is now almost 20 years old, that is still relevant in the ecosphere, there's no re-release. There is no practical legal way to play the game, right? I'm sure that we can argue, you can get the copy, but no. If
Nintendo like does their shitty like 3D release thing and release all the Smash games, then that's going to be aggravating too for me personally. But that's just anyway. But then it's not going to happen. But then again, I'm saying that's an example you could use.
But at least that's an argument. Like if Nintendo, which I think they're doing, would go after the Super Mario 64 PC remake and say, okay, it's in competition with the 3D All Stars. That's at least justifiable. I don't agree with it, but I understand where they're coming from because yes, this is the fans basically remade your game and put on other things. Now, I would hope you would try to compete with it instead of taking it down, but I completely get how that could be piracy. Melee, there's been no attempts to bring that back. I guess the argument could be the sequels or iterations, but Melee itself and the entity of Melee has taken such an identity on its own, and the fact that there is no good way to play it. Emulating the game is the only practical way to play it. And piracy is the only practical copy to get. I've only seen one physical copy ever in existence, and that's in Lost Ark down the street. Yep. And it costs, it was expensive.
It's expensive.
Because it's in demand. There's no practical way to buy it. So when you say it's an abandonware, I say absolutely.
I too have only seen one copy, but that's because it was owned by my brother. Still owned, he still has it, for the GameCube proper. And, you see, my issue here is that mods involving older games have always been something fantastic, and they can whether or not they're doing something as simple as changing a skin in a dancing game or or adding entirely new sandbox physics to Half-Life. The community showing its appreciation for something that was done by a company is beautiful.
For virtually no profit, almost. Too.
Exactly.
And Half-Life's the best example.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like anyone's paying to play Melee online with their friends.
Slippy's 100% free.
Then what's the issue? If you can't buy the game practically,
Especially in an epidemic or pandemic.
in a pandemic.
Yeah, too.
If you can't buy the game practically, if the most logical way to get this game is to emulate it and to pirate it, it's 19 years old. Nintendo's not paying for it. Nintendo's not making this game anymore, and Nintendo is, quite frankly, going on to do bigger things. Why should this matter? This should be a free and empowering moment for the fans to be able to play together. Because you know how I've been told that Melee is the best out of all the Smash games, if not for Ultimate.
Arguably.
I've been told it is arguably the best.
It's a pity.
If not for the Smash, for Ultimate. But a game that it was this popular and is, this out of nowhere to get, I'd be all for it, and I kind of want to free Melee myself if that's the case.
$999
for a copy,
for a copy
Melee.
of Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Bullshit.
For the-
No, I'm not paying.
It's not worth that much.
And I don't even own a GameCube. Imagine how much GameCubes cost.
Pishy cock.
I mean, let's go to the Wii, because the Wii can play games.
Because the
It
Wii
has to
can't
be
play
lightweight. All right, how much is a Wii? Because you would need that. $100 something for the Wii, right?
That's
That one says $139. This
Plus
is
the
$67.
$1,000 for the goddamn game.
So you're paying. I mean, okay, I've seen it cheaper than that. That was grossly
That's-
inflated.
that's
I've seen it like 100.
No,
150.
Brawl was on the GameCube.
No, Brawl's in the Wii.
Melee is GameCube. The
Oh,
Wii
stupid.
plays
Sorry,
GameCube.
sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. Melee is GameCube. The Wii plays
Brawl is
GameCube.
Wii.
The Wii's gonna probably cost less than the GameCube. That's why I'm looking it up. Yes.
Okay, stupid question for someone who, again, knows nothing about video games. I'm coming from this from a business side of things. I assume that Nintendo sees how big the game is, how much people love it.
They definitely know how tournaments are because they put their name on. They put their name on some tournaments that they are involved in.
So okay, then and I may be understanding this
No,
wrong.
you're
Again,
totally
again, little to no knowledge of anything. Why don't they just bring it back? Why don't they just bring it back into circulation?
See,
Or
and
they-
that's the killer question.
Sorry,
No, that's a good. That is a good
Okay,
question.
no, I
That
was
is a
just
good question.
Again, from someone who knows nothing about
And that's
it.
the question that we should be asking: is why can't we bring back the competitive community for this game?
And if
Because
Like
again,
Nintendo back-
especially if the
Okay. At the end of the day, should they be doing what they're doing right now? No. Can they technically do what they're doing? Yes, they have every right to take down the game if they want to. Should they? No. But I mean, there's nothing we can do about it other than just complain, which usually works sometimes.
But that's the thing. You see, if piracy and money is the issue, as it is with most things I've noticed in life,
Money.
if it's greed and it is the money that's the issue, just remaster the game
Agreed.
Well,
and sell it again with online capability.
But
Because if you're gonna be a money grubbing pig about it, then at least do it right.
I agree. On knowing Nintendo's track record,
They would
patch the
1,000% do
game,
that.
that we would get a 1.3.
Yeah,
We'd get a 1.3 where they would basically change the meta. People wouldn't like it. I think the best thing they could do, and this is probably going to be weird, only thing they need to add is widescreen, put it on the Switch with an online mode, keep everything else exactly the same, emulate it. Take Slippy. I'm almost 100% sure the Slippy devs would be fine if Nintendo stole their code.
Again, there are companies that have taken fans and other smaller
Right.
businesses and things and use them to fix netcode, fix certain frame data shit. It's just that Nintendo's track record of emulation, mods, and competitive business. I don't want to say businesses, but competitive games of things that they've been working on. They don't like changes to their games, which is again, I would understand from a business standpoint. But then again, this community has been building this game up for years, more than 10 years, and it's proven to stand on its own. The cease and desist, the reason why I think it's such a big deal is because this can go into things more than just Melee. And this may be me moving this topic a little bit too fast, but again, being an Ultimate player, this scares me for online in general for any Nintendo game competitively.
Why
makes
is
no
that?
sense. Because if you think about it, this is not just Slippy. This is competitive service in general that Nintendo doesn't put their logo on and says is okay. That makes any sense. Because the reason that I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, I'm
again,
you are.
as someone who's watched PM tournaments, been there, watched PM tournaments, watched modded game tournaments, things, and even including people who have used modded Switches, which is now illegal because I think it was actually always illegal. But I remember watching a tournament where somebody had used it modded Switches and had skins and shit. But having stuff like that, they have a tendency to sit there and cut things off that has any changes to their game whatsoever. And the reason why I think that's a problem for Melee, or not Melee, sorry, Ultimate, is because this is more than just streaming online stuff. It's that Nintendo doesn't have any business affiliation with anybody who is actually streaming the service. So I guess I'm going to use Glitch for an example. They could do, technically if they wanted to, because they are not sponsoring the event, Glitch could technically go down because of Ultimate being played at Glitch. If that makes any sense. Because there are places like let's say that I'm trying to like rack my brain of like tournaments and shit. But like let's say that like Capcom decided to pull out a Capcom Cup or something, even though they own it. You know, like I don't know.
Capcom
Then
pulls
I
out
mean,
their own
then
IP.
what's the point? You know, like it's just like like why would you do it? But and it just I don't know. They have a full right to do whatever they want to do to their game. Like I totally get it. But this is scary this is going to basically virtually kill their games. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
anyway.
It's a long-running issue. I hope that one day there's a way we can either combat it more officially, because I know it's within their right. I think to a certain extent. Again, Valve has been more laissez-faire about it, but we've seen every Half-Life mod in existence come out, and Valve has said, put it on Steam. You know, using that as kind of my standard. I do wonder the legality of what they're doing. I think the only precedent they have is when they say it's illegal. I think it would be stupid to say that the copies of Melee aren't pirated, because they
Again,
are.
access to Melee.
No,
is-
again, access to Melee.
Especially if I can also add something in.
Yeah.
I hate to continue to add my 2
No.
cents in, but there are people who have hacked Melee or like have gotten their own like flash drive versions of Melee that are pirated, and they use it and it helps them get leverage in tournaments. And there's been evidence. I can't remember. It was a Pichu player. I remember watching a video on it. There was a player who had been playing with Pichu and like extended the hitboxes of the character on a certain skin. And it's just, again, it's a really slippery slope because, again, piracy in its own... Piracy, if you think about it, like with like this like eyes view, it's bad. It's hurting a business, I guess, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But then again, like, you leave us no choice when we don't have access to the
Not
game.
if they're not trying to give us.
Yeah. Especially when we're trying to appreciate a game that's
if there is
older.
if there is a legal way to get Melee at a like actually decent price, you know, again, you sell Melee. I wouldn't like this, but you sell Melee for $60 on the Switch with the Slippy code, right? Fuck it, you know, like all right,
Your game.
I'm in. We're good. Or you know, do what Sega's doing, release it on PC, and just let people use the ROM, whatever they want. But that's the point.
Yeah.
I think we've said.
I think we've said enough
What do you
about
say
it.
on
Yes,
this?
I agree. Yes, that was my long Smash tangent. I think this is where we get into the fun
Smashing.
stuff.
Now we get to do the Game Awards.
All right, so I'm gonna say one of my thoughts. Last year's Game Awards, what the
What?
fuck happened?
Yo, why did Call of Duty win Best Mobile Game?
Agree.
Sky Children
Right.
Online is one of the best games ever made.
Wait.
This is
If
where
we're
the
gonna talk
opinions.
about that, I'm curious because I somehow have forgotten what won last year.
Game of the
It was
year
Shakira. It was Shakira.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Sekiro.
Travis.
Yeah, it deserved it.
What was
Yeah,
it?
it was
So
Sekiro.
what was it fighting?
It's a Dark Soul game. Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It was up again.
Yeah,
Let me see what the other noms were last year.
Yes,
It's
no.
purely because all of a sudden I cannot remember what I
Sekiro
voted
Shadow
for.
Stitch.
I'll say 2019's Game Awards flew right over my head.
Well, okay, and to be fair.
And no, it's not because
Me,
Ultimate
to be
didn't win. I could give
No.
less shits.
To be fair, so for me,
Three Houses got best strategy.
and Marshall specifically, we had all thought very accurately that Nintendo would make like a Smash announcement at the Game Awards because we were that guy.
Yeah.
That obviously didn't happen. You did that? Were you? No, you were.
Yeah,
You were there.
Brian was there.
Right,
I
yeah.
love you, Brian.
But yeah,
I
so
know
it
what's
was
happening, but
the games that were up was Sekiro, Shadow Die Twice, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
I legit did give a shit that.
So we're gonna let Resident Evil 2 be back on like the list in 2019. Is it just
Resident
a
Evil 3
No,
was the
it's
one that
a-
got
it's
it
a
back in
remake.
this year.
Oh no.
Wasn't it? Or was it 3 or was it 2?
They had a remake?
2 last year.
I think
Yeah,
yes,
no, two was it's the three.
You haven't noticed that they've remade like the past 3 Resi games.
Yeah, Resident Evil. I'm thinking of Left 4 Dead.
Oh,
I don't know why I put those two together.
Alright.
okay.
So
Yeah.
so all
They have
I'm gonna
zombies.
say this year, due to Corona and like being and news being kind of like stale recently,
We have
they
like,
have potential this year.
To be better.
and just by the looks of it, we already have a whole 1 game that's worth it.
Hey, and I was just about to say this before we started talking.
or maybe 2.
This is
I
where the
haven't
bad
played
and
Final
good
Fantasy.
opinions come out.
Oh, boy.
Because
Okay.
Who's
Before we start all this, if I may be allowed to, our glorious leader, can I keep this segmented? So if we make it by my plan, so we have the webpage of the voting up in front of us. I'm gonna go down each event. Obviously, we can skip noms if we want. Yeah, I'm not gonna be super fucking strict. We have to do all of them. But we're just gonna go down the page and basically kind of hash out in as peaceful a manner as we can. Our thoughts on nominations, who we want to win, who we voted for, whatever. But if we can, let's, for organization's sake and for clarity's sake, we're gonna do it one thing at a time, starting with the game of the year.
I can agree.
I would like to first just to the lovely fans here. I'd like to say this semester of university has been absolutely lovely for me. I've made amazing friends here, and homeboy Zuri here, love him dearly, but we're gonna have a fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the
Claws
first,
come out.
the first set of nominations is for Game of the Year.
Woo!
What is nominated is Doom Eternal,
Haven't played.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2. So, just to be that guy, Arrow. I'm sorry, I forgot you used to call you. What are your thoughts before we get all heated between?
Before we get it. Yeah.
Okay, so clearly, game of the year. Despite that, I absolutely hate the game. I don't find it fun. It's a boring like Stardew clone, and that's just all the Animal Crossings all together. Even though Stardew came in like in the middle of it, but I still don't like Animal Crossing. But it's gonna win game of the year because it's the most popular.
Hey,
Everyone
I'll
plays-
give my piece.
Everyone plays Animal
I'm gonna
Crossing.
give everybody like a chance.
Though Doom Eternal is going to be like the second.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna leave you two for last, and then that's what's gonna be the big minute.
I just want to agree with him real quick. I can see Doom Eternal coming in like second place.
I agree.
I haven't played it personally, but I've heard really good
There's
things.
so
I
much
do
good
own
stuff.
it though. I'd like to.
Yes.
Ryan, do you have any stake in this whatsoever?
I mean,
Funny
yeah, I kind of,
commentary.
you know, funny joke here. No, like with my limited knowledge, that's gonna be annoying. I'm sorry, I apologize.
It's
gonna come up a bunch of times.
It's not.
Because
Don't worry.
again,
Don't worry. Speak your
I know
mind.
nothing.
Which one has the cool picture art?
No. When we get into indie stuff, then that's where I'm a little more knowledgeable.
Alright,
but
respect.
Don't worry, I'll
Um,
culture you later. So next time we're on podcast,
As long as you don't have him let you play
Hey,
Last of Us
I
2,
never-
we're fine.
Hey, okay,
Eat your
to admit
ass.
it, and I know, like, to admit it, I've never grown up with video games.
Yep.
Like, so that's why, like, I'm not cultured. I'm trying to now, since, like, I have a lot of friends who are willing to help me out with that. No, I will say, though, like, again, what does it for me for a lot of times is just, like, I'm a simple man. I like a lot of, like, when it comes to it, I like art style, storyline, shit like that. So, again, why I also love a lot of indie games. But I'd say probably for Game of the Year, I would have to agree with Arrow here, Jared. Again, I don't...
Yeah, it works.
Arrow. I would say probably, like, Animal Crossing, honestly. It would probably win, because, again, popular, and, like, everyone has played it.
Yes.
I think you would like Ghost of Tsushima because it has really good.
Very
art.
good game too.
I have seen the trailer for that. It
I
does
think you'd
seem
really
really,
like that.
good, and I'm not opposed to
It's
playing
very
it.
sincere.
but like
Um,
I've never heard of it till now. But what is the game?
Hey,
It's like an
hey,
open
Red.
world
Hey, Red.
Yeah.
Hey, we are using cookies to improve your experience on our
I'm
website.
sorry.
You should probably just say that's all good. Yeah, there
My
you
bad.
go.
My bad.
All right,
Marshall,
Marshman.
Okay.
what are you thinking for Game of the Year?
So, I'm gonna go through my take on a couple of these.
Yeah.
But Doom Eternal, not as good as the original, like, not as in, like, old Doom, but, like, Doom 2016. Not as good as Doom 2016. Good game, but I don't think it's gonna win Game of the Year. Final Fantasy VII, maybe, but just, I'm not sure if enough people would vote for it. I think Ghost of Tsushima is gonna win, honestly.
That's
I
valid.
feel like it's gonna pull a Sekiro. Great game.
It could.
It could.
Same
Uh,
vibe, yeah.
Hades is a really cool game. I hope it would be cool to see it win,
Yes.
but it's not going to.
That's what I have
Animal
heard.
Crossing, I played a lot of Animal Crossing. The new game just was a little too monotonous for me. And Last of Us Part 2, not as good as the original, and the original wasn't that good.
What?
I'm sorry, but
That's a whole nother issue.
I'm sorry.
Alright.
Me and you have our beef later. We'll talk.
I am.
You at least like the first games, alright?
I love the first game. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. So
Okay.
it's not that we're not that we're not that bad. We're not that bad.
This
I'll
is
get
legit
my-
the only thing we've disagreed on.
Yes.
I'll get my thoughts out of the way. I am pretty much in full agreement. I have unfortunately only played Animal Crossing: New Horizons. I just didn't think it was for me. Not a bad game. I just think it's a very casual game, and not against casual games. It was just there comes a point where I'm just kind of doing pointless tests. I didn't like it. I don't think it will win Game of the Year. I think it sold fantastically in March because Corona Panic. But I don't think anyone, at least anyone who's played a lot of these other things, would kind of look at it and say, yes, this is what's the epitome of what's come out of this year. If I had to say what would come out this year, Ghost of Tsushima. I voted FF7 Remake, but I unfortunately haven't played it, so I'll admit I have my ignorance on that. But I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I have every game that's released on Switch, like the mainline. I've played a good chunk of the original. I do know kind of the plot spoilers. I have heavy respect for Tetsuya Nomura. What he did with that remake, I think, is worthy of Game of the Year. It does not have the votes. There's no way in hell that everyone's going to vote for FF7. I think Ghost of Tsushima is a good, like, popular game on here, fantastically done. I think it's it's respectable. The only game on here that I wouldn't like to see is Last of Us Part 2, because I don't want to deal with a Twitter storm. But if I had to kind of rate it, I think we're going to get most likely Ghost of Tsushima, maybe Doom, and I wouldn't complain if Hades. And obviously I'd love if FF7 art. I'd fucking get it. But my prediction would go to Ghost of Tsushima. Alright. Okay, so next I'm going to go to Kari, only because he's the guest.
Yes,
understood.
So, no,
Love you, buddy.
I love you.
I want you to know that. I want you to know that.
Yes. I'm gonna get my ass ripped a new one.
So first,
anyway.
so I'm gonna run through all these. There's only one game I actually haven't any idea of what is. I never heard of Hades. Don't know what it is. Looks pretty.
Indie top-down dungeon.
Yeah, it's like
crawler.
Never mind.
dungeon
You
crawler.
discuss
Okay.
dungeon crawler. Well, for me personally,
Taking the socks off,
Spelunky's a great
boys.
game.
Socks off, boys.
But alright. Well, Doom Eternal. That's a Bethesda game, so I'm I'm all up in that shit.
Rocking with it.
That's to publish.
I haven't played Doom Eternal, but I have played Doom proper, and I've heard good things about Doom Eternal. So if it won, I could see a little chutzpah there, no issue. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Haven't played it. I want to play it purely because I know that this would be the only way I could play Final Fantasy and enjoy it. Now, I have nothing against people that like Final Fantasy. I have nothing against people that like JRPGs. It's just that personally, not for me. I wish I could like it because I know how good the story is. I know a lot about the plot, and I know how into it I would be. But the idea of waiting my turn to kill someone is very irritating to me.
Understood.
And honestly, like, this, for a second, if you ever want to go sit down and we just play through one of these together and just kind of grind it out, because I think knowing the original FF7 before you play FF7 Remake is a good idea. But that's discussions for another podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima, I actually have played this. Very, very fun, very interesting. I like the style. I like the art style. It's very pretty. I like the Sin City-esque emphasis on the color red and the black and white aspect to it. And you can turn on colored mode if you are a plebeian. But like I said, I can see that doing great things. And it is the #1 contender on this list, in my opinion. I think that's the only thing that could easily go for the gold. And if Ghost of Tsushima gets this award, I have no complaints, because I can see this going very well. Now, granted, I haven't beaten it. I don't know too much about the story. I just, like, fiddled with it, and I've seen it played. It's really nice, and I do implore you guys to try it, because it is really fun. Animal Crossing New Horizons. If this wins, I'm killing myself. I hate Animal Crossing. I hate people that like Animal Crossing. If you like Animal Crossing, you're wrong. Just kidding. That's a lie. I'm being facetious.
Does your girlfriend like Animal Crossing?
I know, right? Yeah. So I'm a Stardew Valley guy because I like substance. And the idea of the people in my town actually mattering is nice, instead of, oh yeah, fucking Kitten Cuck is like, hey guys, build me plants, and then fucking Tom Nook's like, hey, check my miles. What? And I'm not going to say anything here because I actually want you to run through all of them.
We'll have a separate conversation about this.
We'll save it.
All right. So is it me next?
Yes.
Okay.
It is now.
So I've played almost every game on this list besides Hades, but I have a lot to say about Hades. So really quick run through with Doom Eternal. Member on this podcast, Dallin, talked this game up, fucking loved it, and completely valid reason. This game is Doom is great.
Fucking down.
Doom 2016, great. Doom Eternal, great.
Really?
Again, I think it. Yes, I said great 3 times in a row. Fuck. So if you look, honestly, I'm not surprised this is not that this is a contender this year, and it's really, really cool to see it up here. Do I think it has the votes to win? Sadly, I don't think so. And that goes to Final Fantasy VII. I love that game. Phenomenal. And I'm kind of sad because there's so much love and like work put into that game, and like the music's phenomenal. Tifa Lockhart.
More like titties, Lockhart.
I'm telling you, every arrangement. I mean, this is like
We'll get the
not
soundtrack in a
even not
moment.
even like this is the epitome of a remake. The game has been changed it's almost unrecognizable, but in a good way. And I loved every second of it. Do I think it has the amount of votes and backing deserved to win this? I don't think so, and that's really, really sad. It's again, I voted for it personally, but I do not see it winning, even though there's so much work put into that game. Obvious bias. Ghost. I see this game winning one of them, like out of most of the options on here. Not that any of them are bad, but I honestly see Ghost winning because I've seen things for it. I've seen trailers. I've seen gameplay, and there are virtually no bad points in that game. And when I usually think about Ghost, it's usually like the combat arts, or not combat arts, sorry. Just like the combat, every little thing about it, and the game is beautiful. Honestly, even as someone who kind of doesn't remember it that much, and again has played it, but I wouldn't say I've enjoyed it more than I liked Final Fantasy, or more than I liked, like, I don't know, Animal fucking Crossing. I don't know. Just as someone who's played the game, I would say it's probably the most likely to win on here, besides two more, and I'll get to those in like a second. Hades was not expecting to get on here, but I am so fucking happy it did. It's an indie game that honestly deserved like the amount of recognition it's getting. I'm so happy to see a game like this get recognition. I didn't expect it. Do I think it has the votes to back it up? I don't think so. That's sad because I don't think many people have played it, but the art style is beautiful, music's beautiful, story is beautiful from what I've heard. Everything about this game is really, really good, and I'm really glad it got appreciated. Animal Crossing, also on my list, one of the games I think is going to win. Mostly because of the Corona sales, and mostly because there's a narrative of people who vote in the Game Awards that don't exactly focus on what substance there is in a game that's nominated. Rather, they focus on what sold the most, or they focus on a sandbox game. I'm not saying Animal Crossing is god-awful, but I'm saying that it's probably going to get most of the votes of people who aren't as into gaming as like we are.
Casual fans.
Casual
Casual
fans. That's the easy way. That's the smarter way to say it. It's casual fans. Casual fans are going to vote for this game. It is like casual fans' dream. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's an easy pick. You don't have to think about it much. Animal Crossing. There you go. Honestly, as a person who's been playing Animal Crossing for years, I didn't enjoy it as much as and that's the common narrative. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did, or as I thought I would. I pre-ordered it. I went to the mall during Corona and fucking got the game. And I still I don't even know my fucking cartridge. That's how much I could care less about it. And then this game. Okay. I'm gonna speak. Do I think it has the potential to win Game of the Year? Yes, I do. Do I think it is deserved? Absolutely not. But there's a reason for this. And I think this is where me and you can start talking about.
Uh-huh.
So me and Kari are two different and yin and yang on this one. I think the game is not good.
And I think
He thinks the game is phenomenal.
is a fucking masterpiece.
Which is valid.
Also, guys, check out my Last of Us playthrough.
Yeah.
We'll link in the description.
yes.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're doing cross promotion.
Silent plug. There are no jokes on this podcast. Except for the joke that you actually like this fucking
Grover's
game.
on here.
Yeah, Brian's on.
Hey, we got it, Brian.
callback.
Who else but Brian?
Hey, you know what? At least I'm comedy relief, so I will take it.
Love you, buddy.
I was gonna say, you can do shameless promotion, but I can't, damn it.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Podcast
okay.
it's linked too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's gonna be the cross promotion. You
Yeah,
gotta put
that's
us on there talking
I just
about
so
that as
happen-
well.
Yeah, bet. I'm fucking down for that shit.
All right, so basically, I'll give my like 2 cents and then we'll switch. Dang, bro, drop the can, yo, Marshall, drop the can.
I gotta get.
Don't
Alright,
worry, the whole
so-
crowd heard it.
Yeah, I know, right? So basically, I have played Last of Us Part 2. I will not say it was the biggest waste of my life. That's me being over exaggerating. I will say and this is the common narrative for the game. I will say is that people didn't enjoy this game as much as Last of Us 1. But then again, you also can't compare Last of Us Part 2 to the first one, which I think is, and maybe I'm unfair because I'm comparing it to the first game, but I think there was a lot of unnecessary parts of the game, dragged on for way too long. They're just unnecessary pieces. And like, this may be a really far stretch, but unnecessary character deaths. And again, I feel like some things were just done for the current shock value.
Should we preface spoilers?
Spoilers, yes,
Okay.
but I'm actually, this is gonna be spoiler free, if that makes sense.
Are we doing spoiler free?
I don't think we can do that.
Okay, that is true. Okay,
Spoiler warning for
okay,
Last of Us 2.
Okay, yeah, spoiler warning for Last of Us 2. Yeah.
Side note, just like as this is for a future editor.
Yes.
Put in say what timestamp to go to,
Yeah.
so that they can avoid the spoilers.
I'll help you.
Okay, yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
probably
do
end
it.
up editing this tonight.
Yeah.
For all this.
So basically, I felt that there were a lot of deaths in this game were done for shock value, and I hate that in games. I hate that you have to kill off a character or do something drastic in a game that makes zero sense or context to the story, and able to create a forced feeling in a game. I'm not saying Last of Us 2 is all forced feelings, but I'm saying that a lot of the game felt like as if it was pushing a narrative that I really didn't want. Anyway, your opinion, because I feel like I've talked out my own ass enough.
Okay, so Last of Us Part 1 is genuinely like Skyrim will always be my favorite game of all time, but I have it ranked so high that it's my 0 game. The Last of Us is my number 1.
And that's completely
So
valid.
Skyrim is so good that it's below number 1. But The Last of Us Part 1 is my number 1 game of all time, so when I heard The Last of Us 2 was coming out, my first reaction was, no, God, please stop, no. Because, as most of us might know, I don't know why I said that, you guys might know that originally there was no plan to make a sequel because Neil Druckmann said, no, one shot, we're done.
Yes.
It stops here. Fans wanted a sequel, they didn't want a sequel, but they made it anyway, and we got The Last of Us Part 2. And I'm not complaining because, in my personal opinion, I can't say that this is better than The Last of Us Part 1 because you can't compare them in the same way. But I actually do kind of think it's better than The Last of Us Part 1. It grows in a lot of the best ways that it could have because it develops on the things that, even in my opinion, were bad about the first game. And I am very, very, very not the kind of guy to say that The Last of Us 1 is bad, because it's not bad. It's amazing. But the gameplay is not its strong suit. The gameplay is clunky. The melee system is kind of fucky. It really is hit button and hope hit, happen, do yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you're not good at hope hit, happen, thing, do, yeah, sure, you will die and no fun for game, yeah, have fun. Mm-hmm. And yes, I worded it like that on purpose because that really is how the combat system is. Yes. Aside from like the gunplay, because gunplay is pretty solid.
I agree.
But when there are so many elements to a game, story, direction, art style, all of these things get amped up in the second game. The gameplay is better because all of the combat systems make sense now. You can dodge, which is a nice addition, which is something you should have been able to do in the first place. Prone is a really nice addition because it adds a bit more depth to the stealth factor, and integrating zombies and like humans at the same time is amazing because that's one of the things that I could not stand. That was one of the things that was introduced in The Last of Us Left Behind, because there's this one part where you can have clickers fighting the hunters.
Yeah.
To integrate both parts is amazing. Now the story is actually something I had to sit on. Now, at first, I've never changed my opinion so much on a game. In the 20 hours I put into it, it went from stop, please God no, why is this happening, I hate everything, to the most like resounding feeling of peace in me, because the game is real. That's why the story's good.
Yeah.
So, as we know, Joel died.
Yeah.
Joel died. Joel gets his shit knocked out with a golf club. Motherfucker gets Tiger Woods in the head.
Yes.
And if you saw the trailers, they had you convinced that it was going to be Dina, like Ellie's girlfriend, that got bit, and then it was just going to be her and Joel going to, you go across the world again. But Neil Druckmann said from day one, Last of Us 1 about love, a father-daughter, Last of Us 2 about hate, father-daughter. This game is supposed to invoke all of the bad feelings in you, and it does it on purpose because its moral of the story is revenge is not a good idea. And it does it so well because I'm going to bring up this. One of my favorite parts about this game, and I say it a lot, is the fact that every NPC has a name. Every single NPC has a name. If you're stealthing around and there's a couple of people, you could just chill, do your normal thing, and then you stealth and you stab somebody in the neck and they're quiet and they're on the ground and they'll be like, "Hey Mikey, how you doing? Mikey?" And they'll be like, "Guys, Mikey hasn't said anything." They'll start looking for Mikey. They see Mikey's body. They shout Mikey. They know this is a person. That's one of the biggest things about this game. Every moment feels real. The faces people make when they die, the gargling of their blood. It's supposed to be gross. It's supposed to invoke this feeling of you don't want to be doing what you're doing. For the first time ever, you're feeling remorse. You're feeling sorrow for your actions. And by the end of it, you're not supposed to like Ellie. You're supposed to not like her, actually. Granted, by the end of it, I still don't like Abby. But I tolerate her more. Yes. I don't hate Abby the way I did at the beginning. Because in her head, a maniac killed her father and stopped the world from having a cure. While in Ellie's head, she is forced to live a life without a purpose now. Mm-hmm. But it really does mold a lot of emotion, and it does force a lot of gross feelings. And I know that that's weird. You don't want to be force-fed gross deaths and narratives, because yes, a lot of people die. A lot of sick shit happens to people that you get attached to. Because with Abby, honestly, if she died, I wouldn't care, but everyone around her, I started to give a shit about. Yeah. I cared about Mel, because I agree. Doing that to Mel fucked me up. Yeah. Because Mel was pregnant. This stuff matters. Every action matters, and everybody holds true to that because this game follows a real life narrative. Because death is cheap. Joel didn't have to die, but he did, and it was fast. Was it rewarded? No. Was it deserved? Kind of, but also no. Death is cheap, just like in life, and you can never be prepared for it. And when it's over, it's over. Same thing with that. Or fucking shit. I just had it and lost it. But
come back.
Things are important. Things are being taken away, and even here it is. So at the end of the game, which is kind of like the epilogue, sort of, everybody kind of goes home all right, Dina and Ellie, and then Dina has the baby. And everything's all right. They're like having this cute like lesbian couple on a farm. It's adorable. It's beautiful, but she's still haunted by the past and knowing that she didn't get revenge. She didn't get to do what she was supposed to do, and Tommy, Joel's brother, who for some reason is still alive. Motherfucker got a bullet to the head. Don't know how it happened. But he says, "I think I know where she is. We can do this for real. No matter what happened last time, you can't let this happen." And Dina's like, "No, don't starting that shit again. We only barely made it out with our lives." And then Ellie's like thinking about it. And then she's about to leave, and then at night, Dina's like, "Yo, you can't fucking do this to me, because what happens if you don't come back to me? You're my wife, I love you, we have a child together, I don't know what to do." And she's like, "If you leave, I won't be back here when you come back, if you come back." And you're damn right, when Ellie comes home, the house is empty. This is real shit. This is how real people act. The voice acting's great. The acting is amazing. I've never hated Laura Bailey in my life. That is my favorite voice actress. Laura Bailey? No, Laura Bailey plays Abby.
Oh shit!
My favorite voice actress. I've never hated her ever. I fucking cannot stand her. The acting is so good that I can hate somebody I've loved my entire life. Mm-hmm. Ashley Johnson is heartbreaking.
Which we are going to get up to.
We're going to get there. Too. Also, yes. I'm good.
I know. Yeah. I just wanted to say that.
Everything you said is objectively right. I read your truth.
We have a lot of other things to get to, and I don't mean to rush you. I know it's kind of I didn't mean to. You're very passionate, love it. So I'm just gonna end this up with very short, just so we can get to it.
I'm voting for.
Okay, so this is your game of the year.
Yes, this is my game.
Camden.
Game of the year, Final Fantasy VII.
You're going Final Fantasy VII. Okay, awesome. Next.
All right, next game.
Next category is best game direction. if I could start this just to get the FF7 thing,
Yeah.
Tetsuya Nomura is a god. I know
Agreed.
among the
I don't even
JRPGs
need to say anything. I just agree with
Yeah,
you.
no, I know among the JRPG space, Tetsuya Nomura is kind of a love or hate him. He's also all of Kingdom Hearts and the original director of Final Fantasy 15. All of these are very love and hate them properties. What he did with the FF7 remake and what the rest of the team did with FF7 remake, spoilers for this as well, just fucking spoilers for everything. What they did with this game to kind of separate itself from what you think of a remake, I personally think the only thing they could have done better was put a colon between the re and the make, just so people understand this is not your traditional remake. They took the concept of a remake, put it on their head, and it's entirely up to the direction. Obviously, I do not know, I have experience with as much of the other things on the board, but what FF7R did just through that, and really through Tetsuya Nomura, I think is one of the most respectable things you could do, taking an entire type of game, throwing it on its head.
All right,
Marshman.
Yep. I think this should go to Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx, like, for a while now, VR has been kind of more of a sandboxy, mess around like system, I guess. But this is our first game that really had like concrete, solid gameplay and like story. It was the people were kind of annoyed with getting a Half-Life sequel that most of them couldn't play. But for a VR game and for a game in general, it was amazing. Like, especially with the Valve Index controllers being able to just, like, be there. It was freaky, fantastic, 10 out of 10. Like,
Freaky fast.
And
I was just gonna say Boneworks, but also I'm glad that you thought it was good. I haven't played it because I don't think I can run
It's
it, but I'd
so
love
good.
to.
I mean, I will say if I had to, I haven't been able to play Hallex.
As far as innovation, yeah, it was fucking crazy.
As far as I've seen from your gameplay, because I know you played it and I was watching it, it is Valve at its best. So 100% towards that. Since you already talked, Kari, if you want to take.
I was just gonna say,
You still going Last of Us?
no, that's a funny thing because
7 hours later, y'all.
the direction. No,
Let's
because
keep
like
this decently.
I know. I was just gonna say the direction managed to change my opinions constantly because I really did not like it at first because it's 9 hours as Ellie, and then 9 hours as Abby, and it would have been better if they switched intermittently.
Also, since we're talking about directing, I think it would be fair to bring up a lot of the controversies before the game,
I was about to say
especially
that.
working
Actually,
hours.
I was gonna bring that up. So the way that Neil did this was kind of fucky, and that kind of broke my heart too because I had a lot of respect for the man for a long time, especially after getting all of his voice actors to dress up as their characters and have a live show.
Yeah.
Because Last of Us One Night Live, it's on YouTube, you guys should watch it, is really great. But Neil Druckmann worked his people to the bone. Developers suffered through this process because the game was rushed. The game was extremely rushed because this was supposed to come out in February of this year. It was supposed to come out in February, and then it was supposed to come out in May, and then it came out in June.
Cyberpunk
And it came out in June.
Yep.
So that's fucked up. I still want to give it to The Last of Us because you heard.
Yeah. No.
Ryan.
Okay, stupid question.
Yes.
What do they mean by that action?
So,
I mean, like, I have an idea of what it is, but just so,
Like,
I know.
Basically, like the companies that directed and made the game, like who
the process in which the game was created.
Okay.
I don't expect you to have strong opinions on this.
Nah, I mean, just going back to their long conversation,
just say FF7.
Yeah,
Nah, I feel like honestly, I would probably go, I would probably side with, for fucking, what is it? Sorry, Last of Us, just, listening to thank you, yes, I know. Just, after listening to a long conversation, and me having no biased opinions.
All right.
Don't worry, you can just.
I just spoke with you for everything.
Oh, okay. So all of these games I haven't played. I don't know anything about any of them, so I can't really give my own opinion on it. But I like the way that Half-Life did it, going into VR. It's a risky way to move since not everyone has VRs.
Yeah.
And it's kind of expensive at this point. But yeah, just even like taking that risk and going to VR is I like the way they did it.
I would be content if Alex won.
Same actually.
Yeah, like if Alex
really
won,
want
that'd be
It looks great.
I did it! I won!
Wait, so it's like all fully in VR?
Yeah,
Or like,
the
Yes.
entire game is VR.
It's like
Yeah.
terrifying. It's like pitch black in areas. You have a flashlight, and these crawling things are jumping up at you. It is terrifying.
Wait, head crabs?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh.
You have head crabs jumping at your face.
I'm worried about barnacles,
No,
bro.
oh yeah, dude! On the ceiling, like there'll just be like a little. You'll see a little string like coming down, and you'll look up, and it's the tongue of this thing that's gonna grab you and suck you up into it and eat you. Yep.
That's sick.
It is. It is so good.
All right.
But yeah, and
But
then
yeah.
Final Fantasy VII.
Tomorrow!
I got nothing else to say. It's just that game. Just again, it is the epitome of making a perfect, objectively perfect game and making it better.
Mm.
And I think that takes true talent and like dedication and a love for a game. And plus, I don't know. My mind's still blown going through that game. Anyway,
Awesome.
that's my 2 cents.
Next is best narrative. We're gonna see who we started with. Let's start with. Did we start with you?
We should do Game
Um,
Awards.
Let's just.
We've not.
What's
What's one in the end?
Okay, so it's
First one.
13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay, yet again, I have never played any of these games. So, but
Just say Last of Us.
just like the thing is, I know that Final Fantasy VII at least has a good story. So let's just go with that.
Hey, let's go.
Or,
All right.
but most likely, if I haven't seen any sort of trailers for Hades, I don't know why, but like,
Yeah.
I wanted to win. I wanted to win something.
Hades deserves to win.
if I just didn't see anything and it was like actually really good, well promoted, it's probably gonna win, judging by like art style and everything.
Indie games don't get enough respect.
100%.
So like, just knowing that this, I don't know. Like I said, I'm worrying about this game for the first time today. Just knowing that it's gotten ranked on like all of these so far,
Yeah.
he's
very
phenomenal.
And
Like,
I
I've
think-
heard something like this in Celeste or like Fez.
I think I can speak for most of us when we say if Hades wins literally anything,
We will be happy.
with some exceptions, it's kind of like it deserves it, and we're gonna
Yeah.
politely clap for it. And it's
Yeah.
it's
It's
gonna be
an
one of
indie game,
those
give it respect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's a
You know,
very
it
small
deserves its
company
time.
too.
Brian?
No, I was gonna say, okay, I'm going based off the trailer for this because again, that's how I pick a lot of the games, the same art style, all that. I will say, what is it? Ghost of
Tsushima.
Yeah, Tsushima. That one, I loved the trailer for that. I thought it was pretty good. So I feel like it seemed like, I'm assuming like narrative, story, same difference, right? Or
Yeah.
am I-
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. Again, I don't know nothing. So I would probably. But I feel like if I saw like if I played Hades, I would probably also go with that one because I do like and like hearing you guys talk about it, it does seem like an interesting game, and just like seeing like the promotional picture they're using for this, it does seem like a really interesting game, and it seems like it would have a good story to it.
All right. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I really have no bias. I will say again, this is just me being a little biased. Ghost of Tsushima, I would not be surprised winning. Last of Us 2 part 2 would not be surprised with it winning. I really feel like Hades should win this one, and low key, just because again I have not played it, but it's just cool thinking about it. Like I forgot. It's like Hades' son or whatever. Like he's like just battling his way out of hell or whatever.
Mhm.
I think that's how it was. But it's very, very cool, and that game just deserves so much praise. Anyway, Marsh.
I think I'll go with Ghost of Tsushima on this one. But
Okay.
yeah, they're all pretty good. I do maybe The Last of Us 2 will probably get this one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. I think valid. All right.
I'm gonna try to. I'll keep mine short. The only plot I know well is FF7. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. It is an Atlas title, or at least it's
Put as one.
Atlas published it, so I have confidence in it. I don't know the other plots, so I voted FF7 because I want FF7 to win something. I just don't know enough about the other games to really speak on them. I don't think Last of Us will win only because controversy. It depends on how much they're going on voting. I don't know if there's like other ways these can win things, but I don't think it'll win through votes. If I had to predict one to win, either 13 Sentinels or FF7, but I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
But I voted FF7.
Me too. All right, let's go.
All right, next one
Wait, you didn't-
is... Go ahead.
You didn't ask me?
Oh, I thought you already said something. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. What do you think I'm gonna say?
really
Last of Us 2.
Let's not even like.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because
Actually, okay.
because I'm not the. Now listen here, motherfucker. Okay, actually, fun fact. The reason The Last of Us Part 2 is so good is that I'm not supposed to like the story because it's not supposed to feel like a story. It's supposed to feel like real life, and I'm supposed to feel cheated and hate it. So it doesn't need a narrative. Final Fantasy VII Remake has a poppin' off story because if I'm correct, it is the same plotline as the original game.
It is not.
It's not.
That is the okay.
They've
so,
changed.
The point. So if we go back to direction for 5 seconds, the thing with FF7 Remake is it fundamentally changes the narrative of Final Fantasy VII. The art direction theory is that it's going to invoke the same emotions that playing Final Fantasy VII proper for the first time would invoke, but it fundamentally changes important plot beats from Final Fantasy VII.
So it seems I've made an ass of myself.
Hey, but you can keep that.
No, but that was
complaining.
That was the beauty of FF7 Remake, was that it was entirely advertised as a almost not a one-for-one remake, but it was advertised as a remake of FF7, and that was the big controversy, that a lot of FF7 fans were very like, oh, this is not what you advertised. But that is kind of the thing. I've been very avoiding spoilers for FF7, but also because I'm not 100% on the narrative. Well, I just know that there's a lot of things that have changed. The things I know, it's
a big deal.
Fundamental changes.
I like Final Fantasy storylines. I've always have. So if I have trust in it, so let's hand it out.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. So next one
appreciate
is art direction, right?
Yeah, best art direction.
All right. So this is not going to be a very long conversation. It's just basically what it looked pretty.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw out 3 options, just because the other 2, in my opinion, are really. hey, you're right.
Ghost Hades.
I will say I agree
like-
exactly with what he said. I love Final Fantasy and I love the art design. I love Last of Us 2. It just looks really realistic, which is the point. But Ori has always taken a giant spin on just art and background, and everything is pretty. Hades, I'm in love with the design in general. It just looks pretty.
The cover art.
The fucking cover art. You know? And then Ghost of Tsushima, honestly, everything. It's Sin City. You have to look at it and realize that game is just beautiful in general. It takes a turn on art. Anyway.
Yeah. Mine's very simple. I voted FF7 because I want FF7 to win something. I think Ori deserves it. I just haven't played it. But we're talking art direction. I think Hades and Ghost of Tsushima take a very close second. But Ori, fantastic visual design. I would say almost perfect. Last of Us Part 2, while it's great at what it does is the most traditional Western game design art, which is let's make it look as real as we can, which is perfectly fine. It's not anything new. FF7, take that the opposite. It is the quintessential Square Enix, let's make it as realistic as possible. And I love it, but if we're talking art direction, I have to hand it. I really want either Hades or Ori to win it because this is the indie game category almost. This is what indie games are built for, is art direction. And I really want one of those 2 to win.
Yes.
Even though I still voted FF7.
Me too.
Who's next?
I'll handle this one. So, I'm alright with 2 of these winning. So I hope I don't sound like a one-trick pony because I really am repping Last of Us because this game really fucked me up on an emotional level. Genuinely, if you actually get a chance to watch the series, you can hear me because it's all my first experience playing it.
Yeah.
So you can hear me reacting to everything, and it's very fucky. The Last of Us Part 2 has really good art direction in that, of course, let's make it as realistic as we can. Very Western, you're right about that. But the thing is, it really bends in with the anti-war propaganda that the game is because of its realism, because it's disgusting. This game is absolutely atrocious. It is awful to look at sometimes because it's so real. It's the facial expressions that Ellie makes when she's choking somebody out. The sounds of somebody gargling on their own blood again, or the weird shit that happens in this one room with Abby and the hospital, and I don't want to talk about it because there's so much screaming in my head from that still. That was some of the scariest shit I've ever seen in a video game in a long time.
Yeah.
Ori, on the other hand, I've actually never played this one specifically, but I was a really big fan of Ori and the Blind Forest, the original game. And that game is beautiful. The platforming's fun. He's a little cute light guy that kind of looks like the electric dude from Lilo and Stitch. If you guys remember him? You guys remember him? Yeah, he kind of does.
I actually kind of see it. Yeah.
So, if we're going for like cutesy, pretty, and all that, I would give it to Ori easy because Ori is a mystical beauty in its own right. It is its own fantastic specter. But if we're looking at art direction in a more sickening and less pleasant way, because that's still beautiful in a fucked up kind of way. Last one's Part 2. But I think I'll vote for Ori.
Okay, I feel you. Marshall.
It's either gonna be like Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, or Ori. But I'd like to see Hades win because Ori probably will.
That is a perfectly valid reason, you goddamn.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do Jared first. On Arrow.
So, I will say this flat out. I did not like The Last of Us HUD. Like, just the in general HUD, it was terrible. I hated it so much.
You said you never played it.
I know what it looks like.
He's been watching your videos.
He has eyes.
Exactly. I've been watching
the channel.
Exactly, you nut. No, of course.
I'm your number one fan.
You've watched me edit. That's true.
So I feel like that just ruins the complete, like, HUD is a really big thing in all video games.
Yeah.
It's what you use to interact with the world, and an ugly HUD kind of ruins the game. Like, let's use as in recent terms, Black Ops 4. Specifically the zombies mode, HUD was terrible. Everyone hated the game. Bad.
Black Ops 4 just was.
It was an objectively
Black
bad
Ops
game.
is after 2 were terrible.
3 was also. 3 was alright.
Black Ops after 1 was bad, but Cold War is good apparently.
1 was the best, 2 was second best. I didn't like 3 as much as 4, honestly, but I didn't like either of them. Yeah. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
So depending on who's voting this year, depending on if it's like the big console heads like performance, PS4, PS5,
PS4 boys.
I mean,
Xbox Series X.
There are 2 exclusives on this list.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Ghost of Sushi, man.
Technically 3.
Well, technically 3 for PlayStation.
What, really?
FF7 is exclusive to PlayStation.
Really?
Yes. So that is 3 PlayStation exclusives, and technically Ori, if memory serves, is Xbox. It's Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was.
Because you can play Ori on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
well,
actually,
because Xbox is no longer has true exclusives, but technically Ori is an Xbox property.
Yeah, but if we're looking at like the battle hardened, everything has to look beautiful. And if one pixel is off, it's a terrible game. It's gonna probably go to Ghost because it has the most, like, Call of Duty. Cold War 4 is something that dropped recently, and everyone's loving it because it looks good.
Cold War is beautiful.
If you look at a cliff, say at any point, it looks good. It's gonna look beautiful. But the thing is, Ori,
it's on Xbox, PS5, and PC. Yeah.
I think I'll pick that up when I get a PS5.
But Ori, this beautiful, like, it
probably
builds this amazing looking world. All the purples, the blues, the yellows, the little white light man. It makes everything look pretty, but as it's a 2D platformer. Not everyone's gonna like it. Not everyone's gonna be
That's fair.
oh, it's a great game. Most people are gonna pick Ghost due to
I feel that.
Western audiences, anyways.
Yeah,
More
Ghost is an
Eastern.
Eastern stuff.
Ghost is it's based obviously off the East, but is made in the West. It is a Western game.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all for me. Yes.
I mean, it did kind of avoid controversy when it was decently. I don't know if it was like super popular in the East. I don't want to like.
I heard it was popping off.
But I heard that like it was well received everywhere. It didn't get any like this offensive game. You know, it was like
Ghost of Sushi Man banned.
Ghost of Sushi Man did a racism.
Not sushi, man.
Oh,
No, not the sushi man.
And last, certainly not least, Brian.
Okay, so
What looks pretty on this picture?
oh my god. Okay, so I would have to. No. Okay, this will make me sound like a fucking pretentious asshole, but I don't give a fuck. I'd probably go with Hades and Ori. Just because, again, I haven't really played any of these, and this is why it's going to make me sound like a pretentious asshole. Like, the other three, like Ghost, Final Fantasy, Last of Us, like, they're great games. Like, they do well with building the world and all that. I'm going to give it to them there. But, as, like, there's probably a better way I can word this, but it's basic. I've seen it before, or you see it a lot. Maybe not before, but you see similar styles. You see, okay, yes, that's why I said, like, I'm trying to word it better. You see similar styles. That's why I personally love indie games a lot. So that's why I'm going for Hades and Ori.
Valid.
All right, y'all. I actually figured out the objectively correct answer was Final Fantasy VII Remake. 3 words. Tifa and Aerith.
Hey,
FF7.
Actually,
sorry, guys.
one
They have
word.
Tifa. That's all that matters.
Boobs.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
It's all the gay one.
Okay, to add on to this, 2 words. Tifa Lockhart.
No, I said you sold the gay one with the boobs.
And if we're gonna add a little bit of extra spice, Cloud in a dress. Cloud in a dress. You know, we were talking about Harry Styles. Cloud did it first. I'm just pointing out.
Actually,
You gotta
Cloud
get
did,
that
not only did Cloud do
diversity
it
in.
first, but Cloud did it like 20 years before.
Also that.
So basically, Cloud on the cover of Vogue.
Please.
All right.
Anyway, what's
Next
next?
one. Best music score.
Okay.
Oh, Last of Us.
No.
Let me fucking start this.
no.
This is
Final
okay.
Fantasy
Final
VII
Fantasy
Remake.
Really, Final Fantasy my 7 in the remake.
Okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake has the best soundtrack up here, hands down. Doom Eternals was good. I haven't listened to a lot of Doom Eternals, but I know Doom music. It's good. I haven't listened to any other soundtrack, but I've been listening to Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack since the demo leaked, and I was able to get the files off of that. I own the original score. It is fantastic. Amazing. I've heard no bad songs from it. The new battle theme is great. The new orchestrations are fantastic. It is a perfect soundtrack. I would say it is arguably a hot competition for the best Final Fantasy soundtrack. And when it's best Final Fantasy soundtrack, that means one of the best gaming soundtracks in general. It rivals 13 and 15 as one of my favorites. I love it to death. Final Fantasy VII Remake deserves to win it this year.
So
I can agree.
so did the remake? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you guys.
All right. But so did the remake make all new music, or was it like
Yes.
callbacks to the old?
Okay, so it is not. There are new compositions because the game was, of course, expanded, new areas, new things. So there were new music. A lot of the music was also remixes or reorchestrations. But that being said, the original version was on the PlayStation 1. So to kind of say, oh, they just took the original score, that's underselling the amount that they went through. I'll play you the comparisons. You will understand that it's not them just blatantly, copying and doing a lazy job. We've heard lazy reorchestrations. This is beautiful, fantastic, and I would say perfect. Perfect OST. Final Fantasy VII Remake, easy.
I can agree.
But does Ashley Johnson sing "Take on Me" in it?
Well, Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't get in a controversy about plagiarism in their soundtrack, while The Last of Us did. So fuck yourself.
I also do want to say, I was half losing because I actually really do like the soundtrack of Last of Us Part 2. But I believe The Last of Us Part 1 has a better soundtrack, objectively. I haven't listened to any of the soundtracks in any of these games but The Last of Us Part 2 because the only game I actually finished and played all the way through. But knowing Ori, I'm going to give my vote to Ori because I know that the last game sounded just as beautiful as it was.
Okay. Let's see. Who wants to go next? Marshall?
It's probably either going to get a Doom Eternal or Final Fantasy VII. I'd like to see Doom win it, but I feel like Final Fantasy VII will just because the music's better.
It's like, I think Doom will win, but like Final Fantasy VII just objectively better. So we're just gonna go with
We don't
FF7.
We don't argue in this house.
We don't argue.
We don't argue on the Mask Off podcast.
I would like a place to sleep tonight.
Yeah, that's the best way to look at it. Once we get to best mobile game, you'll know the right opinion on that one too.
Genshin Impact.
We'll get there.
Wait, is it on?
Yes, no, we'll get there. We'll get there. Jared, go ahead.
Jared's about to have a mess.
Wait, what about that soundtrack, Jared? What's that soundtrack?
We'll get to that.
No, it's a mobile game ported. No.
Fast for me, real quick. I say either. Actually, I voted Final Fantasy Remake, and that is probably going to win. If that doesn't win, I'm giving it to Ori. That's just me, because I love Ori. Every second of it.
So the problem is all of these soundtracks are so different from each other that like you can't really compare them to each other. And it really depends on who's voting. Hardcore Sweats for like Call of Duty, the Doom soundtrack, because it's rock, it's upbeat, it's all the drums and all the bass and everything about that. Final Fantasy, I assume it's absolutely beautiful.
Hell House, let the battle begin. Rip 'em, smash 'em. It's basically if you put like the Personas, like all the Persona songs into one, smashed it into one like album, and then just like kissed it with God.
Look, man, this soundtrack has made me nut harder than any porn you could ever show me.
It's a fact.
Guys, we don't watch porn because we're too busy praying to Jesus.
That's a fact.
Sorry, I don't pray to things that don't exist.
Oh,
okay. We're not good. Wrong podcast. No, sorry, I want to keep you sponsored, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk about that online. Don't worry.
Oh yeah!
I don't give any fucks
The
online.
night that my religion gets bashed.
That's
no clue. There was no opinion for that. Last of Us Part 2. Only one good song. So let's just say that flat out. Ori.
And that was Take On Me.
Ori builds the world, baby. All the colors, all the music, it all melds perfectly. There is no bad track in Ori. So it has to win.
Ryan?
Personally, I would go for Sky Children of Light, but it ain't nominated.
It lost last year, damn it! Still mad about that. Still mad.
No, personally, I honestly only listened to the Final Fantasy one, so I'm gonna go with that one. Although I do want to listen. Although I feel like because I think after this I'm gonna listen to Ori and Hades, because I feel like I'd go for, again, I'm going to be basic indie boy here. No, I feel like I'd probably, after listening to the soundtrack, I feel like I'd like Ori's, is it? Yeah.
Ori.
Ori. Not, why am I saying
Ori
Ori's?
and the Will of the Wisps.
I feel like I'd go for Ori just because, again, again, going based off the art and, like, knowing a ton, like, again, from your guys' conversation, knowing a little bit about it, like, I feel like that's the kind of, like, gaming soundtracks I listen to, kind of just, like, the mellow, chill ones, stuff like Sky Children of Light, Wander Song, stuff like that.
Building.
You
world
will love
building,
this
like,
game.
Celeste
Yes.
type deep.
I will set
But-
you up so you can play it. You will, well, not that one, but the one before, but you'll love it. I guarantee.
Yeah.
Actually, Arlo has... We'll talk about this after the podcast. I think Arlo has Game Pass, which might have this on it.
Yeah,
so
it does.
We can figure that out.
But based on the only one that like I've listened to, I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy for my vote.
Okay. Valid. All right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Let's move
also,
on.
I kind of wonder how much it takes.
I
think it was 30 when it came out.
Best audio
design.
Okay, this is the only
Resi?
one.
Resi 3 was nominated.
I either am giving this to Resi 3 or I'm giving it to. I hate saying this. I'm gonna say Last of Us 2. I will say there's something about okay. I have not played Half-Life, but the fact that it's a VR game and that you can look okay. I'm only saying this because objectively this is what I'm saying. It's because I haven't played Alex. That's literally it.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going Alex only because I know Valve. I haven't had this is the entire collection of games I have like the least experience with. But I'm going Alex because I know Valve and I trust Valve. Alex.
You feel like you're there when you play it.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I haven't played Alex. I'm going Valve.
It's.
I mean, it's
There's no
trust
Because
Valve.
if you're gonna go out of your way to do something as like as insane as make a VR exclusive following a big name franchise as big as Half-Life,
Well, yeah,
something we've been
not
meaning
just a
on
big
for
name.
years.
Yeah, like not just big name franchise. Like the Half-Life franchise is like it's in the PC space. It's Mario.
And the thing about
Almost.
Half-Life is it's been known for pushing the envelope. It's always been about innovation.
100%.
From the beginning, it was growing from because now like how every shooter was a Doom clone,
Yeah.
essentially. Half-Life is what really showed what shooters could be. It's what fixed physics engines. It's what fixed the sounds were popping off in 2004. I mean, if you're gonna make a Half-Life game in VR, and I haven't even played it yet. I guarantee the sound quality is amazing because like you said, I trust Valve. I trust Half-Life as a brand. I've heard nothing but good things about this game, and I cannot wait until my piece of shit can run it.
Good.
Yeah, it's VR. It's gonna have good audio. So Half-Life is just gonna go. It's just gonna win objectively.
Brian, I don't know if you know this one.
I was gonna say I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one because that's just
That makes
like I
sense.
have no opinion, but I'll go for Half-Life just because all y'all went for it.
Works.
Okay, so
Best performance. I'm going Miles because I like Miles Morales. That's all I picked.
wait, actually, I have one request.
Don't you dare.
If you know anything about Miles Morales, please don't say anything. Because Spider-Man's half my personality. I don't want to.
We
He
won't.
does have the N-word pass. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it, but
I would like.
Well, no,
to
he
see
has
him-
half of it because he's Latino.
oh yeah.
Let Brian get his finale.
Nah, I was just gonna say I'm going to plead the fifth on this one as well. Again, so
Don't you dare.
I will go for
Don't.
majority.
Actually, we're just like
No, this is
okay.
an easy decision. It is Ashley Johnson.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not.
That's so
okay,
easy.
okay. I will say this. I agree with Denver on this.
Thank you. Because
I have not played Miles Morales, and I do plan to play it in the future.
Same.
But
Also, it's really funny because it's the kid from Incredible Crew.
yes,
I found that out recently.
Ashley Johnson. I will continue to say to the end of my days. Phenomenal acting.
She's
So
amazing.
anyway, yes.
She's a great voice actor.
No,
I understand, but like,
That's the thing, though. Well, you keep going. Then
the
I'll
thing
tell
is,
you.
I just didn't like her performance in general. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't have a reason. I just didn't. It was a feeling, and I stick to
How
my
much
feelings.
of it have you seen?
I'd say like halfway through.
That's why. But look, the thing you gotta understand is, one of my favorite things about Neil Druckmann's doings, especially in this, is that every cutscene is not just a cutscene; it is a mocap performance.
Okay.
Everyone mocaps their characters, and Ashley Johnson is not just a voice actress; she is an actress. All of the people in The Last of Us are actors. They're not just voice actors. They're doing all of this real stuff. Like, you can watch all the mocap performances. They're amazing. They're emotional. And the wails, the facial expressions that you see, she had to put on.
Yeah.
That's not a computer doing that. That's her face through like graphics. That's through the capping.
100%.
It's real. Now, I would think about giving it to Laura Bailey. I would, but I don't think her performance was as strong. It was great, and as I had mentioned before, to be able to turn my favorite voice actress against me is a phenomenal movement in itself. But I feel that the emotion seen from Ashley Johnson's, the screams of pain, the nose, the cries that she's made, she deserves this more than anyone else.
I think this is the safest Last of Us win of Game Awards. Like, Last of Us kind of has this in the bag. Obviously, I'm not really experienced with any of the vocal performances here, but I do think that, especially with the name with Laura Bailey up there, it's kind of hard to argue against Last of Us 2 taking one of the spots. I don't think anyone had issues other than Arrow with performances in this game. I do think we're going to get Last of
Oh
Us
no,
2.
it's just Ashley. Like, it's just Ashley.
So you're going Laura.
Yeah, of course.
All right, well then.
Like, The Last of Us. The Last of Us is going to win.
Okay.
But the thing is, I've seen some like gameplay from Miles Morales and from that Spider-Man game, Miles Morales.
Miles Morales.
And oh my lord, the way he backflips off a building like the exaggerated swagger of a black teenager. Ooh, that game hits.
And you know what? I've never seen two pretty best friends.
I've never seen two pretty best friends.
But yeah. And anything else before I move on from best performance?
Pretty best friends.
Then go ahead. Next is
Okay.
Games for Impact.
So I don't really think anyone has opinions on this besides me.
Okay,
Yeah.
So do you
I'll
mind?
let-
Do you mind
yep,
if I
you
say my
pop
little
off.
piece? All right. The Darkest of Times. I'm gonna say, in my opinion, fucking easy. And I know I'm probably saying way too much or I'm probably speaking for way too many people and shoving words in people's mouths when I say this. Not many people played many games on this list for Games of Impact, but The Darkest of Times I can probably say is one of the most impactful games on this list. I have not played. I'm trying to look at all the games again. I forgot my fucking glasses. If Found, no, I haven't played. Kentucky I've not played. The only one I played on this list that's not The Darkest of Times is Tell Me Why, and I was not a big fan of it personally. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying if you compare two games, probably because I love the style of The Darkest of Times. But anyway, I would say if you're gonna vote for something, The Darkest of Times definitely deserves it.
I will say, last year one of a game I have high respect for was nominated for this. It was Kind Words. Highly suggested. It's like $5. I'm not gonna say it like it lost, it deserved it, because I forgot if it won or not. I don't think it did, but it was a fantastic game. I have high respect for this category, which is why I refuse to vote, because I refuse to muddle these results with any sort of kind of bullshit, because I actually do have high respect for this category.
Me too.
So yeah, if anyone else has comments.
All right,
Moves me right along. Best ongoing.
All right. So can I go?
I'm not gonna be happy about what I'm gonna say.
Do you mind if I?
Marshall. I think this is his best category.
Okay.
He knows these
actually,
games
Oh my
best.
god, these are such
Okay,
good
if
categories.
this were like a couple years ago, I'd give it a Fortnite. Now I would not. Not a fan
No.
anymore at all. Warzone, kind of shit. Destiny 2, it was shit. But when Activision was there, then they left, and it was good for a bit. But they changed it way too much from the original. I don't like it that much at all. They switched to too many guns and fucked up the game with Apex. No Man's Sky, they did a pretty good revive. I don't think any of these are really good ongoings, to be honest.
I concur, actually.
Really?
What?
All of these have fucking plateaued at mediocre, to be honest.
Oh.
Okay,
That's
I mean,
opinion.
if I can say my piece.
I only gave a vote to Call of Duty because I want more COD games.
I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. No, but, okay.
Or good COD games.
I'll give you that.
No,
Okay,
that's
so I'll make my piece much quick. I voted No Man's Sky. I think Destiny 2 is going to win it because I think it's the one right now with the most kind of positive fan reception. I think Apex Legends, I don't want to say is dead, but it's dead. Warzone, I think, has a good chance because it's a COD game, and a lot of people are going to vote for COD for the name COD. But I think it's going to go between either that or Destiny 2. Fortnite is also kind of dead in the popular space unless a bunch of casuals come in and vote it. I voted for No Man's Sky because I agree with you that everything here has kind of settled to mediocrity. The difference is that everything else on this list either was something great or stayed constant, while No Man's Sky was a bad game that rose itself up through blood, sweat, and tears to
became a good game.
became at the very least a good game. Not a great game, but a good game, and it's hard for me not to respect that. So that's why it has my vote.
No Man's Sky did manage to go from being one man's lie to, for the most part, being able to one day fulfill the promises it gave.
Yeah, no, and Internet Historian did a fantastic video on it, which is why I voted for it. But I mean,
Worst drop of all time, though.
Where's what?
One of the worst launches of all time.
Like Destiny 1 was bad, Destiny 2 was even worse than Destiny 1, but that was worse.
Wait,
than
you hate Destiny 2?
Huh?
Well, no, not Destiny
Okay.
2, but Destiny also?
Destiny 1 at launch was bad, then became good. Destiny 2 at launch was worse, but then became good. Does that make sense?
No, because I don't like
Destiny
Destiny at all.
Oh, well, okay. No,
I'm sorry.
I mean, teach their own, yeah.
All right.
But yeah.
Well, anybody else opinions on this?
Okay, so I played most of these games on this list except for No Man's Sky, Fortnite.
Fortnite.
But Warzone, it's a COD game. People love the game. It's probably gonna win most likely. Apex, it's dead at this point. There's no hope for it, but it's still really fun for me personally because they're just improving upon things, nerfing, buffing, changing. It's good.
Where did my
Gameplay-wise-
Peacekeeper go?
Gameplay-wise on this
Why
list,
is
Apex
this-
is
Where's
my
my boys
favorite.
MV?
It's one of the few I've
Where
actually
it is?
played extensively, but Apex is my favorite on this list, gameplay-wise. Just I'm sorry.
Also, Destiny. Okay, so I wasn't really big in Destiny until I downloaded it like a month ago on my Xbox, and then, well, not on my Xbox, on my PC, and God, that game is fun. I don't know if it's just like all new experiences or it's just like the community, but it's really fun for me. And it took the place where Warframe did. Warframe's free to play, really easy to get into, but it was farm heavy. But as I played like for years, like we're talking about like 5 years of Warframe, I got bored of it. And Destiny just took that place from me.
like I came from Destiny 1 at launch, and I stayed on the struggle bus. I was like, this game it's gonna improve, and it did. Though you had to spend a shit ton of money to even play it, because paywalls, you couldn't even play anything. But the point is, at the point that Destiny 2 is at right now, it's not filling that hole that Destiny 1 finally rose to, you know. But for someone that's just coming into it, Destiny 2, it's fun. I'll give you that. Yeah, it's great.
I just really like farm heavy games because I like to put myself through misery.
All right, Resident are.
Apex is dead. Destiny's bad. Call of Duty is awful.
That COD's bad, yes.
You know my COD opinions. You telling me that Cold War is good gives me hope for the franchise again, because gotta love me some Black Ops 1.
It's the sequel to Black Ops 1.
Gotta love me some Black Ops 1.
It feels it's fantastic.
So this is something I never thought I was gonna do. So No Man's Sky is the smart decision, and unfortunately I'm not gonna do that because I'm voting for Fortnite. I never thought I was gonna do that. 2 years ago I would have shot myself for saying
alright, so
something
you're
like that.
never appearing on this podcast again.
Yeah, no. Okay,
You
so
are.
that's the thing. I am a casual player when it comes to Fortnite because I have no intention of saying that this game was great. Because at first it was bad. It was very bad. It was casual trash, people playing it on their phones and thinking that they're cute. And then a couple of years went by and it was still bad. And then 2 seasons ago happened. And my friends, we had a whole haha funny meme. Little memer, you know? And it was like, guys, it's new Fortnite season. Who's gonna buy me the battle pass?
We did that too.
And then Zach bought the battle pass. And we were like, you wasted $10. You wasted $10. And then he was like, well, if I win it looks like everybody's going in. So he bought us all the battle pass. Like, bro, you just spent $40. So now we can't waste your money. So we started playing Fortnite as a gag. And like, okay, who can get to 100 first? And then we realized that as a squad-based game for like just casual fun with friends, it's actually pretty good, especially because the shooting mechanics aren't that bad. It could be significantly worse. And as one of the free-to-play game, only one of these games isn't free-to-play. By the way, No Man's Sky deserves some respect for that anyway. But for being an ongoing game that was paid for and had such a bad drop, I feel like should get less respect because people wasted money on it at first.
Understand.
While with Fortnite, you never really had to waste money. So I can respect Fortnite a little bit more there. Now, to be honest, when I actually go back to vote, I might end up voting No Man's Sky, but in my head right now, based off of the mental state I'm in, I think Fortnite.
I will
maybe.
see you on the battlefield.
I'm gonna let Marshall pop off because he was a competitive Fortnite player when it launched.
Yeah, okay, so Fortnite was... Take everything he just said and 69 it, because Fortnite was great. Save the World was shit at launch. I bought the game day one and I played it. It was fun for a couple hours and then it was boring. When Battle Royale launched, it was shit, but then it got really good very quickly and then kind of got shitty right around season 4. And it's never really gotten better.
Yeah.
It's never done what it used to do, which was this really fun, casual game that had, yes, it had comp, but, it was so fun and simple. And they added all this random shit and a bunch of RNG and a bunch of stupid, broken, unbalanced guns and stupid fucking nerfs and buffs to random shit.
Hey, hold on. The mech was perfectly balanced.
Okay, so you don't even give me started.
The mech was funny as shit. I
Okay,
only know
yeah.
that from sandbox mode, but
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway.
But yeah, just the game got more and more. The comp scene just is dead because there's no balancing in that game whatsoever. It is fun now though. It is fun to just dick around in. I can't play it anymore because there's not as much skill involved. That's all.
is it not fun to dick around in for you anymore? Or can you still enjoy that?
I can enjoy it. I don't have enough people that would be willing to do that right now, but I mean, like, I'd be down to try it out again. Oh, but like, yeah,
No, like literally, like.
yeah, but like,
Also,
yeah. As far as comp, that game's dead. As far as fun, dicking around, sure, I'll give it to that.
All right, so use that to move on to best indie game.
Remember when Fall Guys came out, guys?
Yo, what's Fall Guys? I just know Among Us.
Dude, Sonic the Hedgehog skin?
I'm
What?
actually
I'm surprised that Fall Guys is on here and not.
All right,
Among Us.
here's
Yeah,
the
I was
thing.
gonna say.
Among Us didn't come out this year, and it's bad.
It's nominated though. It is nominated for best
Best mobile
multiplayer
game.
and I think best mobile.
All right.
We'll get there when we get there. I'd like Brian to start this one out though.
Yeah, I was
because
gonna
the only one who
say, let's have Brian.
because you are.
Hey.
We did kind of introduce you as kind of indie game guy.
Hey.
So
Okay.
what do you think of these?
So I was gonna say, what was that? I don't know really. What was that card?
Carry on.
Karen. Sorry, I'm.
Karionyte?
Yeah, I'm shit at reading, so I apologize. I think I may be dyslexic, but anywho, no. I don't. The only one again, haven't played Hades, so I don't really have much of an opinion on it. The only really two that I have an opinion on it. Sorry, I see it better on your screen.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Is probably Fall Guys, and then what's the last one?
Spirit Fair.
Yeah, those are the only two that I really would have an opinion on because I've played Fall Guys for a bit. I found it to be a really enjoyable game. Like just like because I was bored, I just like threw it on and I would just like mess around with it. And then I heard amazing things about Spirit Fair. Wait, that.
Spirit Fair.
Yeah, Spirit Fair. Okay.
It was also nominated. It was also nominated for Games of Impact, so I respect it. I bring Hades because Hades is also nominated for Game of the Year.
Again,
Hades gonna win.
I probably would go for Hades if I played, if I knew more about it. Because it does it seems like a really good game. I would probably go for that, but again, I don't know much about it.
Yeah. So
I'm giving it to Splunky.
Splunky too.
I say Hades.
Hades.
Because Fall Guys, want to talk about bad HUD? The fucking HUD in Fall Guys is trash. It's an ugly.
I don't think there is a HUD.
There's literally just a counter of people. That's it.
Oh, yeah, that's simple.
And the hub is even worse. Also, it feels like Fortnite. Like just the way that the way
I got you.
the career
Yeah,
system.
don't worry, I'm gonna
It's gross. Like in the old fashioned Fortnite way. Actually, recently they updated the way that they manage the store in Fortnite, and it's much prettier. to look
It's just
at.
long.
It's long and gross.
It's so
like
fucking. I went in it, and you just keep scrolling for a while, and it keeps going.
Yeah, but
But I feel like it's a good mess around, fuck around with your friends and all that.
it was at first,
Or at
but it
least
had
for
an
me, at
awful
least.
launch.
I have 80 hours.
Yeah, I played it launch day.
I don't agree with that.
I have 80 hours on Fall Guys. It was great.
No, I mean
It's just the replayability is kind of gone.
it was.
I was
True.
going back to it now.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll fuck around with my friends and all that, but again,
Fall Guy-
I will give you that for it.
It grew stale very quickly. Not all of the game modes were very fair, and if not fair, interesting.
Dog on yellow.
And most of the team based stuff, especially because it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a battle royale.
Yeah.
And this is an it's like an untraditional battle royale, which did make it interesting at first. But like I said, I did play this on launch day because if you had a PS4, you got Fall Guys for free.
Really?
If you
Didn't
got
know that.
on launch day, you can get it for free. You could have got it for free.
Yeah. Okay.
I did.
I remember that.
And all of the servers were down. The servers were an issue for the first 3 weeks of the entire game, and it was messy. Like you would get in games, you get dropped out.
Yeah.
You'd make it to the right when you're falling before you even join a game, you drop out. Your friends would lag out. The entire world would just stop. It was messy. It was buggy. It was glitchy. They didn't iron it out, and it was not ready for its launch. And that's why Fall Guys gay put it in Splunky. Also, I meant gay in not in the bad way. I promise.
All right.
See, I didn't really play it around launch. That's probably why I don't have more of a negative opinion about it. I'm sorry I didn't interrupt you.
Okay.
Fall Guys, bad. All the other games,
Good.
pretty good. I never played any of
Mid-art.
except for Spelunky 2 and Fall Guys. But never heard of Carry On, Hades, Spirit
Spirit Fair.
Fair. Yeah, so but Spelunky Hades is most likely gonna win because it is nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
But Spelunky 2, it innovated off of everything Spelunky did, and just learning everything new that Spelunky 2 integrated into the actual game was just amazing. It's such a fun game, even the replayability of the game is golden.
I could have said it better myself.
Yes. All right. So I said Hades, but we're all
Hades?
good.
Okay.
Easy.
Like again, I've had like 80 hours on Fall Guys. At this point, I just can't play anymore. I think the game that deserves this is a game I haven't played. I've watched PewDiePie play a bunch of it, and it's so fucking hilarious. Carry-On. You get to play as a fucking symbiotic tentacle mess, and you get to eat people, and it is fucking hilarious and gross and surreal. I love it so much.
When I go to Olive Garden.
You just get to eat people. It's amazing.
I wish I could eat people.
Eating people. Aren't you the one who has
Jeffrey
this?
Dahmer.
Aren't you the one who has the whole speech about eating people?
What?
We're not doing it now. But,
I have a speech about eating.
Okay, boys.
Arguing.
Oh, that's mobile game. All right, I gotta start this one. Okay.
Mobile games are bad.
No. Okay.
You're
Here's the
just
thing.
simply wrong.
Best mobile game last year was my fucking thing, right? Like, there's one game last year. It's called Sky Children Light. You all should download it. It's the best mobile game on the App Store right now. It was nominated. Not sponsored. No. But speaking completely, like, unironically, like, void of all jokes, I was very close to crying at the end of that game. Not because of any story significant, just the true beauty that one game company was able to pull off with Sky. Brian, I know you just got into it, but you gotta agree with me.
No, yeah.
The game deserved it
100%.
last year and lost to Call of Duty Mobile. Why
Look,
the
it's there again.
fuck
Why
is
the
COD nommed again? It won last year. Like, there's no reason. If Call of Duty wins, I'm gonna be fucking pissed off. Like, Warzone can win whatever the fuck.
It shouldn't be nom.
No, it shouldn't.
It
Not
should
for
be.
Best Mobile, because it already won. And honestly, neither should Pokemon Cafe.
It should Among Us.
I
I'm
personally
personally
think
up there, so it's bad.
Well, I mean, no.
Treyarch's not on the list.
No. There's
Okay,
no reason
okay.
for COD nominated. I'm almost done.
No, you're
So,
gonna. I was just gonna say.
his name, obviously, I would be very mad if COD wins. I think Among Us is gonna win.
Unfortunately.
Like, I do think I'm gonna say Genshin deserves it.
Genshin deserves to win.
I
by
think
a long shot.
by build quality, when I think of mobile games, I think of innovations among the mobile game space. Mobile games sphere, we are used to mobile games. Let me finish. I'm very passionate about the mobile game. I'm a big believer in the mobile game sphere. I think it's evolving. I think people are starting to learn how to use it right. Sky is my litmus test because it's one of the best games ever made. Genshin Impact, while far from being a perfect game, by far from being a AAA game in comparison to everything else on there that I know. I do not know Legends of Runeterra as well. But I will say that Genshin Impact build quality, the fact that you're able to get something even close to Breath of the Wild to fit on mobile platforms, and even in those on PS4 and cross-platform with PC, my vote will have to go to Genshin just on the sheer fact of the scale of that game is impressive for a mobile console. Yes, Kari.
All I'm gonna say is I agree with you. I'm gonna give my vote to Genshin, even though this is the out of all of the games on this list. Let's see, Among Us bad, COD bad. I have not played Legends of Runeterra.
really good.
I haven't played it. I have not played Pokemon
It's
Cafe
really-
Mix. But it's-
Oh.
Now, personally, Genshin's not for me. I tried it. I understand why it's interesting. I can see what made it cool. I like the whole parkour system. It's cool, but the combat system is not advanced enough for me
100%.
to enjoy it. And also, gacha systems are inherently gross to me because there's nothing I hate more than loot boxes.
Yeah.
I hate the idea of trying to normalize gambling in video games because why can't we just play the fucking game?
I will say Genshin by itself is slightly overhyped, and there is I think a larger discussion we can have about Genshin by itself. For me, it's best of the options that we have. What is the most impressive as a mobile game?
And that's why it's Genshin, because
That's
it
why
is the
it's
most
Genshin.
impression.
Because despite everything you said,
And it's
it's
not.
built on a foundation of pretty good.
But when Among Us wins,
Yeah. Among Us will win.
I will still be able to be proud in saying that Genshin should have.
Yes.
Okay, so I have all the feelings about this. this topic.
Then we'll go to
Okay, Call of Duty Mobile. It was hype. It was so hype when it first dropped, but it just got stale because it has a bad engine and it's not gonna run well no matter what you do it on. Legends of Runeterra, amazing, really fun. Pokemon Cafe, I really have no opinion on, but Among Us, Among Us. Being like playing competitive Among Us hit different. Imagine like
pause. Competitive Among Us?
Okay.
No, it is a.
It is most certainly a
It
thing.
is a thing.
Tryharding is different from competitive. Tryharding is like yelling at other people. competitive is like actually being a legitimate sleuth and actually like examining the radars, doing stuff like that, and not completing your task automatically.
Here's the thing, though. Among Us had has the same issue that Fall Guys did. That it gets stale very quickly, and I think like the one issue, like, and again, I'm kind of with Fall Guys. Like, again, I'm comparing because like they're more or less in the same atmosphere. Because again, two very popular multiplayer games, but like for me personally, like Among Us, like the reason why I just stopped playing completely, like. Because Among Us was beaten to death. Like every single gaming channel I followed did Among Us. Like so many live streams of Among Us this, Among Us that. And it's just like, yeah, like maybe like a few there's like some cute artsy crafts things that I've seen like of Among Us characters, and like yeah, like I find that cute. I'll go like then maybe I'll play it again. But like again, it's a beaten dead horse, and that's why I personally don't think like yes, there's a lot of hype around it. It had a good launch and all that. I don't think it deserves best mobile, and I would go for Genshin. I apologize.
You're good.
You made the right decision.
Thank you.
Among Us is just like really good. But the thing is, the game I have invested at least 10 hours every single day to get those daily commissions, those monster rewards, and leveling up my characters to the limit.
What is it?
Genshin motherfucking Impact. The thing is, it's beautiful. The climbing, okay, so drowning is the worst mechanic in the complete thing, but drowning
Wait, you can drown?
You can deal with drowning in life. But the thing is, Genshin, the gacha system, terrible. I will admit, the rates, garbage. I have gotten the only 5-star I've ever gotten was Child, and I got a duplicate. So it was just straight to Constellation, baby. But like the thing is, the game itself, beautiful. The music, amazing. Have you ever seen? Like, Liyue actually fought... I'm not going to say that. I thought it, like... I'm not going to say anything about the Liyue music since it's, like, based on Chinese ancient things. I don't know if that's, like, legit things, but it's so good. They actually use kotas, and I really appreciate that. But Genshin. The rates are terrible. It's not going to... You're going to get mad at the game, and you're always going to get mad at the game. But it makes it so worth it once you hit that 5-star, once you get that high goal, once you meet that adventure rank. It's so satisfying to get each and every milestone in the game that you just want to keep on improving, that you want to keep on playing. And that's what I love about it. That's why I have invested 10 hours every single day.
Don't worry, we'll be talking about the flaws of Genshin once we get to best RPG.
Arrow, I hope you understand that gambling addiction exists and you can get help.
Yeah, we can call some people.
Yeah, we can call some.
Listen, I'm a free-to-play player, and I'm doing great.
All right. I just say Genshin because I think it's obviously on this list. It's the most innovative in the best looking game. Among Us in itself is just a game that it's like a party game. It's cool, but Genshin is like the epitome of what can be pushed on a mobile device. So that's just the way I see it.
And the story,
I don't think Among Us deserves this at all. Among Us can get multiplayer. It's trash on mobile. Garbage.
Agreed.
Dog shit.
I bought the game for you on computer because I didn't want you playing on mobile.
I do appreciate that.
Should probably go to Genshin or Legendary Terror.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So wait, is the next category what I think it is?
I've never heard
Okay, can you give me support?
Skip.
Skip.
Ew, Valorant's on my side.
Skip.
Wait, what was that second?
Best item was best.
Wait, what's on?
Okay. It's
Just
Half-Life
giving
Alyx.
best community support.
It's Half-Life Alyx or Sand
Actually,
Crusaders.
Okay. Best AR VR.
I can actually see
Half-Life.
this one.
Half-Life Alyx Sand Crusaders.
Or The Walking Dead.
I mean,
Yeah.
Or Squadrons. Star Wars Squadrons. If you like flight simulators, that's fucking crazy. That game blew my mind. Like,
Dreams is VR.
anyway,
It is now.
VR.
Okay.
It's not really.
So yeah, I went.
even though it's an EA game.
No, I went Half-Life Alyx for the obvious reason of I trust Valve. Valve has not only been making great games, they are the fucking, they've been doing VR, they've been pushing not only hardware but software for VR. I've watched Marshall play Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alex has both. And Iron Man doesn't deserve to be on this.
True.
Iron Man. Okay, the fucking. It's like the Batman demo. For
Yeah,
VR.
it really is.
There's no reason for it.
It doesn't belong in there. Yeah.
So even though Half-Life Alex is probably the right answer, I've actually played Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. I love this game.
Me too.
It's phenomenal. Because like I've seen this implemented in a lot of games. The whole like, oh yeah, your mic's constantly on, so things can hear you. In a fucking zombie game? In VR, that's intense. And the worst part is, when it's just you against like one walker, it's like mid. It's like, oh yeah, this game. I don't see how this game could ever get scary because the art style isn't even that realistic. And then, I shit you not, they're so slow, but the hordes are so big that it's so intimidating. Because every movement is
They can hear you.
it's so freaky, and then like even the interactions with the humans are interesting. The RPG elements are good because it really is a choice based game.
Yeah.
Everything you do somewhat matters, and it's just good. It's a really good time. Granted, it doesn't have the best physics engine because I played a lot of VR games, and I guarantee you, I can tell you this already. I haven't even played it. Half-Life Alex probably has a better physics engine because it's a Valve game. It's a Valve game. It has a better physics engine. I played Blade and Sorcery. That's beyond. But The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners has a story for the most part.
Yeah.
It has really good options. It has decent graphics because I can run it. Not super well, but I can run it.
Yeah.
And it's accessible. I think Walking Dead Saints and Sinners gets some respect because it's one hell of a game.
Okay. I'm passing on to Marshall because he's a big VR guy.
I'm all good. Just
Okay.
earlier Half-Life stuff. Yeah, good.
Half-Life Alex.
I'm excited for the next category. I think at least.
Okay, cool.
I really have no opinion. I don't play VR.
Same.
All right, cool.
All right.
Please.
This is what I think
It is.
It is not.
Innovation accessibility. Can we skip this?
Yes.
Yes.
Why does it? I mean, I understand what's
Okay,
the category.
is the next
but-
one I think it is, please. Best action.
Best action.
I'd say
I
Half-Life.
think-
Streets of Rage is like a good game in general because I like beat 'em ups. But like,
It's gonna be Doom or Half-Life Alex.
agreed.
I would lean Doom on this one only
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
best
Axel would be
action.
Yeah.
It's because it's for action. I think it's hard to argue
Yeah.
against Doom.
Doom.
I think Half-Life Alex is overall a better game. It is more innovation.
But Doom Eternal though, just
Doom
like
Eternal
in
as
general,
an action
as an action
game
action
does better
standalone.
than-
Yeah.
That's its job.
Okay, please.
Exactly.
It's a Doom game.
Yeah,
if it's
exactly.
not, if action's not the thing it's doing the best, it's not playing Doom right. It doesn't need to have the best story because Doom's always
That's
been
not the point.
big monster shooting it.
Yeah, and it's, as long as you're doing that good. It's doing it. Any other thoughts on best action?
Well,
I
I mean,
think-
I'd probably
No, we're not.
see. Like
We're
you
so
said,
close
like again
to
between
mine.
Doom and Half-Life, I feel like
Okay,
maybe
we're
Half-Life a
cool.
little more because
Yeah.
again it introduces that like element of VR, like which I feel like maybe gives like it more like for me personally like gives it more a little bit of a leg up over Doom. Again, no opinion, like no like real biased opinion here because again I haven't played either, but again from an outside perspective, like I feel like for me personally the VR probably gives it a little more like up, like gives it more
Yeah. Alright. I'm trying to get to, there's a few categories I think we all actually want to get to, so
Yeah,
I'm trying to skip
so-
the
so
trying to get
yeah.
past the ones.
Best action adventure. I would. Okay. Nobody believes me on this, but I really think that Fallen Order is probably one of the most underrated
Actually,
games on
I
this
was
list.
gonna go that route.
Yeah, it's very, very good in general. Like it just.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know the game's nom. I'm gonna think it goes to.
But I think Ghost. I think-
Assassin's Creed hasn't been good since 3. Anyway,
Yeah, as long as
stealth
this
isn't
doesn't
even.
win.
You don't even need to maintain stealth in that one.
Yeah, no,
It's
as long as
not an
Valhalla
Assassin's
doesn't
game.
win. I mean, I've watched Mac play. It doesn't look horrible, but I'm kind of like, if we're going to talk about like quality of game, it's the least.
The character you play is like you know the hidden blades on the inside.
Yeah.
The character they're so like egotistical. They put it on the outside because they're not an assassin. They're
Yeah.
just a brute.
Which
It's not Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, no. And so I think.
I think.
how do you do parkour in
Ghost.
fucking
Ghost
Northland?
or Fallen
What are you
Order.
gonna climb?
Ghost.
A rock?
Yeah.
I also will say that as much as Ori is fantastic game, action adventure.
That's a strong one.
That's
That's a
strong.
little
Yeah.
bit of a stretch.
Is the next one?
To be honest, it's
Best
probably gonna be
role-playing.
Miles Morales.
This is where me.
Okay, okay, actually, we're not there yet. Miles Morales, I think, has a chance. Only problem is it's new. And most, I think there's going to be a large group of people who go, I don't want to play it till I get a PS5. And so they didn't buy the game for PS4. So there's a very low player base. It's having kind of, I don't want to say the Smash Ultimate problem, because Smash Ultimate didn't have this problem as much. but it released like
It's
a
actually
week
having
ago.
the Last of Us issue.
Really?
Because that's what happened. Because Last of Us
Oh,
released originally
yeah.
right at the end
Right.
of the PlayStation
So
lifespan.
I think it's gonna get shared. That's why I think we're going Ghost of Tsushima or Jedi Fallen Order. I also don't think people think of Last of Us as an action game.
Yeah.
I think this would be one. I still think action.
It is an
adventure
action adventure.
I mean, yeah.
Sure, but still.
I just think it's. I put my vote into
On
Ghost of
Ghost.
Tsushima.
All right.
RPG.
This is the please my piece first.
This is when we fight.
Okay. This is where me and you get like
Oh, yes.
like at each other's
100%.
throats. So okay.
Actually, should we just go last?
The most well,
You go,
because I'm really passionate about this one. The most
I'll go after.
important ones on this list, in this order. Yakuza, I think it's what. Yeah, Yakuza is really
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
number 3. Final Fantasy Remake number 2. Easy number 1. Persona 5 Royal. I'm not saying this because I'm a Persona fan, but again, they have taken a perfect game, made it better, made it even better, and somehow fixed the story to the point where like this game has no bad points in my opinion. There are 0 bad things about Persona 5 Royal. I said that. I'm taking back. I'll say it, but I'm taking back what I said when I'm taking back when I say this. I'm surprised it didn't get Game of the Year
Take it back now.
because it is objectively a perfect game, and P5 was great, phenomenal, but they made it even better with Royal. And playing the game 3 times, I cannot find a bad thing about Royal. Music's phenomenal. Still to this day, they are evolving on each Persona aspect of the game. Whether you go in real life, you're in Mementos, you're in palaces. The final palace of the game. Again, I'm not going to spoil because most people in here have not played the game, and you
don't spoil it.
Yeah, you Alex are
You
planning
spoil
to
Last of
play.
Us all you
Yeah,
want.
you are
Not-
planning to play the game.
Yeah.
It is objectively the best thing to come with Persona is the final palace, and you feel even because that's the new part of the game that's big, and even the small things like as like the winter dates or like the new added items, the DLC personas and shit. It's big, and like that final, and like again, bringing up the final palace. It makes you realize that this game, like even that small addition to the part of the game, makes it so perfect.
Yeah.
And even like the small added, like the new character Maruki is probably one of the like again being voiced by Ferdinand von Ayer is one of the fucking best things in the world. But it's just again they've made Persona 5, which was already a phenomenal game in general. They made it better, and they've made it better in every aspect, and it still blows my mind. Anyway,
Okay,
I don't know.
so
this is really like
yeah.
hard to talk about.
No, I feel you. Also, my voice getting hoarse, so I apologize. Like I'm like you're over there. So I'm gonna go through because this is arguably my biggest category. I'm gonna go through each game, kind of as I see it, kind of from my worst to best. But I'll try to not take up too much time if I can.
Yeah.
I know absolutely nothing about Wasteland 3.
No.
So moving on. Genshin Impact is the only one on this list I've played. Genshin Impact, as much as we rave about it as a mobile game, I've been playing it on PC. It has no reason for being nominated for this category. As a role-playing game, there's no reason.
And the
It
writing
just-
is not.
The writing is meh at best. I know you disagree, Jared, but
Here's the choice you make. Do you want to be a boy or a girl?
No, but like even I even look at it as a JRPG. I look at it as a JRPG where like that's not the RPG element; it's more how you play. Even then, it's more. I almost see it less as an RPG and more as a Breath of the Wild clone. As much as controversy over that, I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as a fantastic thing. But when you put it up against Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royal, and Yakuza Like a Dragon, there's really no reason for it to be there. Even when the things it does were better in the things it's based off of. It didn't improve on the mechanics, it made them worse. And I simply can't let that be best role-playing, especially when the role-playing elements are based off of a gacha system, and gacha systems themselves are extremely iffy.
Polarized.
Yes, on top of that, PC optimization, you have to use an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller. As a person who runs an Xbox controller, it has the wrong control scheme, there's no button remapping. I tried to play it through Steam, it doesn't work through that. There's a lot of optimization issues I have. The game, the best thing I can say about it as a game by itself is the visuals are fantastic, and the music is fantastic, or at least the music is good. For a mobile game, I think there's better soundtracks on this list, Final Fantasy VII, Persona 5. So when it comes to best role-playing, I couldn't in good gracious give it best role-playing. Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've been playing through Yakuza 0 off and on. I've kind of stopped right now. I respect the franchise. It also came out too late. I haven't played it. But I wish it was nominated for more because I would love for Yakuza to get the respect it's kind of finally getting. A lot of people have said it's kind of the alt Persona. Persona 5 Royal. I am a Persona fan. I think Persona 5 Royal would take... No, I know. I cannot vote for Persona 5 Royal for best RPG.
Because I know what you're saying.
Persona has a trend. 3 had Pheasant Portable. 4 had Golden. 5 had Royal. I'm sorry, the base of the game, the meat of Royal, is Persona 5, which was nominated for Game of the Year in, 2016, 2017. A lot has changed. A lot has improved. But when it comes down to it, it's still Persona 5.
Understand.
And then you put it up to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've said my piece about Nomura's thing, so I won't go too far deep into it. What Final Fantasy VII Remake did was take the expectations of a type of game, the remake, and tear it open and make us think about what does it mean to remake a game at a fundamental level. It's the philosophy of video games almost. And the fact of just what it's trying to do for the industry, what it's trying to kind of push for, I would feel horrible not voting for it. So my vote goes full force to FF7 Remake. That being said, the Persona fan base exists.
Yeah, sadly.
Unfortunately, 5's gonna win.
Yes.
Royal's gonna win. I would be stupid not to say that, but I will say 7 deserves it.
I will say the reason I'm voting for Persona 5 Royal is because I played it 3 times and I cannot find the wrong thing. And again, I love FF7. I love FF7 remakes, but I'm so dead set on P5 Royal because I even looking through that game, I still can't find anything wrong with it. Anyways,
Completely respect it. I think 7 deserves it.
I can agree.
Anything? Sorry, rest of y'all.
I'm gonna. Oh, you first. Okay. I'm actually gonna give it a Persona 5.
Okay.
Now, granted, as we all know, I can't play JRPGs, but I'm gonna trust it in this. Now, I would have went the route of Final Fantasy VII Remake, but because, as we've established earlier in the podcast, I clearly don't know as much about it as I thought I did.
Yeah.
And if it was a
Which was the
direct,
point, but I'm not gonna.
if it was a direct remake of Final Fantasy VII, just with a whole new style, I would have given it because then at least I know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
With Persona, I am learning more about it every day of knowing you. Just alone with the soundtrack and the things I've seen you do, I think that's the right place to go. I know a lot about Yakuza 2 because I've seen a lot of the gameplay for all of them, and I've noticed how they do not get the recognition I think they deserve. And you're right, because I'm pretty sure this was its only chance to win anything, and it's not going to win because it's going to be Persona.
This is its only nomination, which really sucks because it's up against, Persona 5 Royal and Final Fantasy VII Remake. And again, if Persona 5 wasn't nominated for anything the year of, I wouldn't switch to Persona 5 Royal, but I would kind of be a little bit more lenient toward it. But it's up against, I think, 2 of the greatest RPGs of all time. Because as much as I just said about Royal, it is one of the best RPGs ever made, period. I just think 7 did more things respectively. And that's why I think Yakuza is kind of in a bad place, because it's a fantastic game, but it's up against 2 of the greatest ever made. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I just...
But the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim's not on here, so you're...
Well, we're talking about good games. Good games, Kario.
Kario?
Your real name didn't get deserved to be put in there.
All right. So
I couldn't disrespect it with what you said.
Fine, Chowder Boy.
Hey.
Rada.
Respect, rada. All right. Any other words?
At
about
least that's good media, unlike Skyrim.
Well, let's talk. All right.
Okay, so
let's wrap this up.
Secondly,
Rod.
Radaman.
Yeah. All right, so I completely agree with you that Genshin is not a role-playing game. Role-playing games mean that your choices make a difference. Genshin is just...
I do agree that it's not a role. That's not a JRPG at all. I guess that different not right now.
Different actions to change conversations.
Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And Genshin absolutely doesn't do that. It's not a role-playing game. It's not what it is.
No.
But all my experience with Persona, the fact that, if I'm not correct, stuff that you do in the beginning of the game affects the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what a role-playing game should do. It should have you think about all your choices. Like second guess yourself when talking to someone. Second guess everything that you do, because no matter like anything that you could do can make anything happen. It's the butterfly effect, and I love that about that game.
All right.
And honestly, I think that's gonna Persona 5 Golden is gonna win.
Royal.
Royal.
Royal. 4 gold.
Royal.
All right. So, no, you're good. So, should we speed run to this? And
Brian and Marshall.
All right.
You guys, Brian.
All right. So is the next one what I think it is?
Next one is okay.
Yes. No. Let me speak. Let me speak. Let me fucking speak. Okay. Competitive fighting game player in the room. The elephant in the fucking room is that Mortal Kombat 11 is not going to win
Thank you, because it's bad.
because it's dog shit.
terrible.
It's dog shit. It's
It's
awful.
awful.
I'm gonna tell you 2 games that are dog shit. Mortal Kombat 11 is dog shit. I'm sorry, but everything about the game, in my personal opinion, does not work.
Not enough characters,
And-
too many changed game mechanics.
And not only that, is everything feels like it's taking turns rather than a game of like you're not focusing on frame data. You're focusing on things such as like, when is he gonna punch me? When do I receive? And Mortal Kombat has never been like that in my opinion. I've always been a big fan of X because X never felt that way. But while Mortal Kombat 11 is so stance based, if that makes any sense, I feel like I'm fighting a character who's in a stance and it's giving and receiving. I cannot put Street Fighter 5. Even being a Street Fighter fan and playing that game competitively for years, will never put that game as a game of the year. It can't be. I'm telling you, the game has too many problems. There's too many things wrong with it. I mean, again, the stance is that the only reason I would even say it has a reason to be on here for best fighting game is because it has been around for so long and somehow has a competitive fan base. One Punch Man, don't know dog shit about. I'm sorry. That is a problem on my end. Grand Blue. This is what you're going to hate me for. I don't like Grand Blue personally.
Really?
Gameplay wise. I think the characters are sick. I think everything, including the super moves, I think everything frame data wise, visually beautiful. Phenomenal game. I cannot have it win fighting game of the year. Because Under Night and Birth, Extra Latest, or Unicorn, basically, is on this list. And I'm telling you, I've been waiting for years for Uni to get on this list for anything at all. I've been waiting. Everything about Uni as an anime fighter is perfect, in my opinion. Frame data, character-wise. I mean, there's so many things that you have to learn in Uni to be good at it, to where it's a skill-based competitive fighter. And even if you're not looking at this as a competitive fighter, it's enjoyable casually, because things such as smart combos, things such as like your supers make sense. Things such as void effect. You can cancel your void effect. Basically, there's so many pieces and parts in Uniclur, and they made it better by adding Lundreka, which is the new character, which is really, really cool. And also one thing to say is when I look at a fighting game, I look at things such as character themes or like the music inside the game. Street Fighter 5 is great, like character theme wise, like Guile's theme is great, right? Like things like that. Grand Blue is great. Music in that game is great, but nothing will ever beat going into a game of Unicorn online, listening to Nightwalker. Beat 8 Nest. Ice Steel White Knight. There's just infinite possibilities of just amazing songs in this game. I know for a fact that Uni's not going to win. It's sad, in my personal opinion, but it's easy getting my vote. The fighting games I see winning this year are Grand Blue and probably Grand Blue has the highest chance of winning. But I really hope Uniclur comes second, and it's a game that has gone so far under the radar as a competitive fighting game. Anyway, that's my rant.
If I can kind of try to speed run my fighting opinions here. One Punch Man doesn't deserve to be on this list. I've noticed that the Game Awards has a really bad habit of including anime fighters in their best fighting games. I'm sorry, we've never seen a good one, at least not that I've seen.
Dragon Ball Fighter.
Dragon Ball Fighters is the exception. Excuse me.
Agreed, it is the exception.
Anime Arena Fighter. So I'm thinking
Dragon
Jump Force.
Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Right, I said fight. No, I don't have much experience with that game, so I can't speak on it. But last year, Jump Force was nominated. Did not deserve
And
to be
did not
nominated.
deserve to be
Force was
even on the
nominated?
list.
Jump Force was nominated.
Why was it even on there?
It was Jump Force was nominated for best fighting game.
That's depressing.
Jump Force. And One Punch Man had a lot of similar issues. It was buggy. It was bad objectively. There's no reason for it to be up here. It's like they're trying
the
to
Jump Force of this
represent.
list.
It's like wired. I think Game Awards is trying to rep the Anime Arena Fighter, which I appreciate as kind of a fan, but I play My Heroes 1 Justice 2, and as arguably one of the better ones, it's not a good fighting game. You cannot play that competitively. It's unbalanced as shit. The whole thing, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to that genre to make it better. There's no reason for One Punch Man to be on here. Street Fighter V, I'm going to say a very similar thing. Street Fighter V, like 4, has been re-released multiple times. This is a re-release of a game that was released in 2016, 2017, if my memory serves. I think it might have been 2015. There's no reason that it should be the 2020 fighting game of the year. It did not release in 2020. There's nothing about Championship Edition to
That
my
makes
knowledge.
it new, even.
Yeah, no. Now, I will say this. There wasn't a lot of good fighting games released this year.
Yes.
But also, Rivals of Aether got a deluxe edition.
Agree, and
so
I
if we're
think
gonna
it
be
should've been
pulling
on here.
this shit, we could put that over this, because at least it deserves to get something. It's an indie game rep. I would put it over One Punch Man. Mortal Kombat 11. Haven't played. I heard a lot of bad things. It does have Rambo, though.
Does it have one of the best DLC character rosters I've seen? Like characters like Joker, Rambo,
Yeah.
Terminator.
Oh,
Cool.
wait, I did play this.
Very cool. It's a very cool concept, but the game just has too many problems as a
Yeah.
fighting game.
I
But-
played it. It was fun. The issue is it has
Also,
two
Fatal Blows are
games.
fucking stupid,
Yeah.
and so is Armor. Anyway.
I'm not knowledgeable enough about any of these games to really talk about like the actual fighting themselves for the last 3 that I'm talking about. So for me, it went between Grand Blue and Uniclear. I have no experience. The reason I picked Grand Blue, and there is a few reasons why. One was art. I'm sorry, but the art of Grand Blue is fantastic. Some of the best fighting game art I've seen. It's not that Uniclear's art is bad. It's just very traditional anime. Well, I think Grand Blue just has a lot more detail on it. Grand Blue had a lot more to work with, being part of the bigger Grand Blue franchise. 2, Grand Blue's music. Again, I know nothing about Uniclear's music, but Grand Blue's music I have Game Grip soundtrack for. It is fantastic. Some of the best fighting game music I've ever heard. I love it to death. Well, not my favorite soundtrack ever. It is fantastic. Definitely worth a listen. Lastly, I think Grand Blue will win only because Uniclear kind of went under the radar. Not a lot of people know Uniclear. If it wasn't for you in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, I would have no idea that Uniclear was even made by the same guys as Grand Blue.
French Bread is great as a developing team.
Oh wait, no.
Just
Blade
saying.
was the-
Blaze Blue is the one where you know Uniclear from, because that's Hyde and
Hyde, Line, all the other.
Yeah, all of them come from that game. I have to give it to Grand Blue, and I think Grand Blue win for recognizably alone. That being said, Mortal Kombat has a chance through Western fans.
Agreed.
I think there's going to be a lot of casuals that see Mortal Kombat and go, yes, Mortal Kombat, and vote it. But I think...
Even the breakaway is stupid. Sorry, anyway.
No, that's a very bad reason to vote, but I think there's a lot of people that vote that, and I think there is some merit to it, 'cause I think we all kind of have voted for that at least a few times.
Yeah.
I think that if Mortal Kombat wins, it's going to be for that reason. I think, though, if we're going to take that reason out, Grand Blue has the best chance, and I vote Grand Blue.
Alright.
I have no experience with most of these games, but I know that One Punch Man was not good because anime arena fighter hasn't been good in a long time. That as a genre has not been good in a long time. Uniclear and Grand Blue, I'm not super familiar with either. I only know those 2 franchises from playing the other one.
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Yes.
Grand Blue's not in it, but Uniclear is.
Okay, I apologize. Well, but I do just want to make a comment on Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat here. Mortal Kombat is a franchise that's been going on for a very long time, and I've never been so disappointed with the title because I got this game being so excited for it, and it actually introduced some of the more interesting characters.
Yeah.
And it still disappointed me because it's buggy, it's gross, it's clunky, which is
Movement
weird
feels so nasty.
for a Mortal Kombat game. I've never felt so
Yes.
slow and useless in my entire life. And
Well, as long as we can agree that the best version of Mortal Kombat 11 was objectively the Switch version.
Oh my God.
I never played on the Switch.
You might,
Horrible.
you might as well just got a wire. You might as well got a wire, connected it to your phone, bashed it into a wall, and then started looking at the graphics because it was dog shit. Like actually,
It wasn't good. The story wasn't good either. The only,
You're
the only
right,
thing
you're
I liked
fucking
about
right.
it was Cassie Cage.
Uniclear story. Anyway,
Cassie Cage is a very interesting new character that I really appreciate and could have been done even better than she already was done. And I feel like if she was done in Mortal Kombat X, it would have been an even better game.
Fucking nut popper.
I also, I know, right? And I just want to say that Street Fighter, for being a game with such a memorable roster, because even though Mortal Kombat's been going on for a long time too, Street Fighter being one of the most classic arcade fighter games of all time, has most of its roster locked behind a paywall.
Yep.
Bullshit.
You have
You lose.
literally like 8-10 characters.
Instant loss. No, it was like 4.
No, you have like literally like I can give you all the characters that are available if you're not without a DLC paywall. It's literally just like Karine, like Rainbow Mika, like the basic characters that you would get like the basic roster of Alpha 3, which is sad.
It's sad. It's pathetic.
Also, I will say, I hate to point this out. We have passed the 2-hour mark on the podcast.
Okay,
So we probably should start either wrapping up or like speed running the next few.
All right, let's not spend
sections.
as much time.
There's one category.
Is there okay? So I guess are there categories that
I went down to see how much
Dave-
more is left.
Debuted.
There's a lot more. Best debuted game. Okay, so does anyone care about best family?
No.
I don't. Okay. Sim strategy.
No.
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 Sports.
Yes. Well, I
Well,
just
Tony
want
Hawk,
to give
just
it
Tony
to
Hawk.
Tony Hawk.
Tony
Yeah.
Hawk.
Just
Okay,
Tony Hawk.
I feel that. Multiplayer. Among Us is gonna win. I voted Valorant.
Yeah, sadly.
Valorant's pretty good.
I'll give it to Valorant
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Valorant's
TF2 meeting Counter-Strike is kind
Yeah.
of cool.
It was fun. I think it's going to be between these two. I think Among Us will win. I think Among Us. I know you disagree with me. It was a good multiplayer game. I voted Valorant though because I just like it.
Yes.
Creator of the
No
Year.
one cares.
Better than all these people.
I'm gonna give it to
Yes.
Valorant
Alright.
because I know who she is.
Phasmophobia.
All right. Yes, Phasmophobia. Oh my.
Yeah.
Phasmophobia.
An
Yeah.
innovative game made by literally like one dude. Like it is fucking ridiculous.
I want to own it.
It's $15. It's great.
Yeah, I need to play it with you at some point because I've been trying to get on like PC and play it,
Yeah.
but like
It-
no. Just shit, like even fucking watching that game, it's so fucking. There's so much to do.
Hunt
So-
ghosts with your friends.
Yeah,
It's like-
it's not just like the different ways you test to hunt ghosts. It's just how mind fucky the game is, and especially I wish they put this in audio because this has like some crazy ass voice recognition. It has the mic on the whole time, like in other games. So if you say certain things, the ghost will react. There are things you want to avoid saying. There are things you want to say. But if you say too much, and if it's a shit type of ghost, also the ghost is just completely random. You're trying to figure out what type it is. So if you just get a demon, it's fucking hilarious. I had the most fun ever playing that game. I went into a house.
I really want it.
I decided, hey guys, let's just bring glow sticks and none of the equipment. Just glow sticks. They don't illuminate shit in front of you. It's just a glow stick, and it was fucking beautiful.
Honestly, again, I agree. Phasmophobia is probably one of the and
so
like
much
even
fun.
like looking at some of the things on this list, I do not think like any other game has debuted better than Phasmophobia and gotten more attention.
I will say I saw when looking at the footage of like Raj in Ancient English, Raji. I don't know how to pronounce it. I apologize.
Raji.
Whatever. It was released on Switch. I looked at it. It looked decent. I was tempted to buy it. I'm still voting Phasmophobia.
My one complaint about this list is that Spellbreak isn't on it.
That's
Specifically
valid.
because
That's
Spellbreak within 1 week hit 5 million players.
That's
which,
impressive.
Which is ridiculous. And they launched a game
100%.
on fucking PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and Switch. Cross-play, cross-save during a global pandemic.
And there wasn't hiccups.
Mhm.
That game ran
There wasn't-
smooth 100% of the time.
And
No
just
issues.
the innovation in that game is crazy. I wish it was on here. You can like combine spells and shit. They have battle royale game modes, a team deathmatch game mode. It is phenomenal. I can't wait to see what they have.
One of the best kind of, I still would put it with kind of like the Fortnite shooter battle royales.
It's a projectile based.
Yeah.
If you're still kind of trying to kill everyone, but it is definitely the most creative. Definitely, if you're a fan of it, 100% try it out. If you're not, still
And
kind of
it's free.
worth-
It's
free,
completely
no.
free.
Play a few rounds, drop it. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely bare bones battle
I
royale.
don't know how it runs on Switch, but it does, and it does it pretty well.
Yeah,
Not
no.
sponsored.
Not sponsored, but 100% worth a try. I haven't played as much as you have, but what we've played together, 100% worth it.
Alright.
Yeah.
So-
Anything else?
I don't think so. I don't really care much about esports athletes because they completely
Please look at
esports games.
esports athletes. I just want to see who's on there.
Athletes. It is Crimsic, Shadowmaker, Kenny,
I did
Shotzi, and I don't
I did Shotzi.
I don't really care.
No idea.
I don't know.
I don't know these
Again,
people.
there are never ever any fighting game players on there. Ever.
Yeah,
I
no.
think Sonic 5 was on there one year.
Esports, not League or
You're
Fortnite.
legend.
That's all.
It's has to be Valorant.
Valorant just because it's new.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think
And I've had a
League
lot
or
of fun
CS:GO should be on there again because these are the two biggest competitive games like in general.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I don't know if they should be of the year. Fortnite similarly. I think these two what we're going with, and I had to choose. If I had to choose one of these, I think
The
I'd
new
vote
Modern
for
Warfare is
CS:GO,
awful.
But I'm probably gonna switch to Valorant because Valorant deserves it. I don't know anything about CUD.
Yeah,
So I'll probably
the new Modern, well, the quote unquote new, which is not new. It came out like 2 years ago. I don't know what's on there, but it's shit. compared to the old Modern Warfare. It's not. The point is, Modern Warfare was never Treyarch, but Treyarch wasn't involved, so it's not good.
Yeah, no.
Old Modern Warfare was great though.
Let's just give a little bit of praise to Overwatch, even though it's not here.
Agreed. And
Because I feel like Overwatch should be.
a lot of the teams, a lot of the teams.
I mean, the league's here. I think
Esports event league. Overwatch.
given that. Okay, so I would say for the same. I wouldn't put Overwatch on here only because I wouldn't have put Counter-Strike Fortnite League on here.
Yeah, it's
Kind of like it's a 2016 game. It doesn't deserve of the year unless it does something super like fantastic this year, which it didn't.
But when is it ever?
Well,
I mean, when is League? It's been out for ages.
no, like 100%. I completely agree. That League shouldn't be on here, but it's the kind of the same reason of why I would put Overwatch until Overwatch 2 launches, in which then I think we can have that conversation again. But I think that's enough.
I think that's enough for the night.
This might be the longest podcast we've done.
but it was a very enjoyable one.
No, it was. It's nice to do one.
I'm surprised we didn't fight as much. I
Yeah.
actually thought that was going to be less civil.
Oh yeah.
yeah, throwing hands.
I just haven't taken
I
off
do-
my ankle weights.
I do want to ask, though, while we're still on the record, do you think that I got my point across? And can you see why I think The Last of Us 2 is such a great game?
I can agree with you. I think I'm the only reason I think most of your points make sense and it changes my view on the way I see the game. It's just personally as a person who's played the game like again, we played about the same hours. It's just I don't really like some of the characters still, but I see what you mean. That makes any sense. Everything you said is correct. Like fully correct. It's just my personal preference on the way I see a game. That makes sense.
And because of that, I am completely fine with you not liking it.
Then you
And
know,
therefore, we no longer have a disagreement. This is the perfect relationship.
agreed.
Awesome.
Kiss.
Again? Alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's a good stopping point. This is definitely nice because took us
Before we end, I would like to give all of our. I mean, we say guests, but we know damn well they're going to be back on.
Yeah.
But I know at least
Time and place, baby.
Ryan and Kari, you guys have decently like platforms that are regular, especially you, Kari. I'm let Ryan go first just because you have more to say on that, but keep it decently short. But still going to give you guys all a chance, and you also give you all chances to plug your shit. So, Brian,
Okay, hi. I guess
they'll
no.
all be linked below as well. We will give links so you all can find them wherever they want to be found.
Yes, no. I run a podcast with my best friend Mara called Teens Opinion / Have a Seat with Me and My Brain. It's basically just a podcast where we talk about random shit. Sometimes there's a theme to it, sometimes not. We just get on there and we just talk and see where it goes from there. So if you just like listening to people talk and feeling like you have someone to listen to, come and subscribe to me. And shit gets wild there sometimes.
We'll probably be on that at some point for cross promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arrow, let you go next. Cause you said
So there's not really much to my thing because I haven't actually started streaming yet, but it's going to be near. And just like I'm gonna be a gamer who gets gamed on.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna live that down.
That's another thing.
For context, follow us or SSBU. Yeah, it's retweeted and pinned.
Yeah, no, I mean, all of our shit's gonna be done. And then of course, Kari, I know you're the biggest one of us all here.
What is tiddly poppin' chain gang? It's your boy Karionyte. Call me Denver Cardi Cage or anything of the sort. It's been nothing but an honor to take my masks off with the podcast. If you want to check me out, I'm on YouTube /Karionyte. We have 230 subscribers. We have Kari and the Captain, which is a show that features legitimately everyone in this room. It is a vlog that is just a story about my experiences in university and growing and becoming more of a better person. Through it, hopefully. And all of the very close friends that I've made in this world is great. We also do gaming stuff for a variety channel, whatever you want. We stream on Twitch sometimes. We're popping off and having a good time. We have a Last of Us series. That's why you can see, and you'll understand why I love it so much if you actually watch it. We got Skyrim, and I get memed on it. And we're doing sketches now, which is even cooler.
Yeah, right?
Watch the machine.
Watch the Machine.
Watch the Machine.
Which also has features all but Marshall.
Marshman will
Like
do
you
more.
cry every time.
Yeah.
But he was
in the room.
He's actually
He was
you're in
in
the
the
credits.
I'm in the credits.
And you're in the behind the scenes.
Yes.
But
I wasn't in it either.
thank you for having me on here, and
Yeah.
I hope only to show up more because love it.
I'm gonna say some final words real quick. So, again, I'll keep this quick and short because I know everybody's been listening. I really appreciate everyone who's ever sat to the end of one of these. It's again, it's so fucking it's fucking hectic all the time. But I will say that one of the best things about this podcast that I feel that we are different from most people is that we add on new people. Like, oh yeah, we built different. But I feel like every single time that we do this podcast, we invite new people or we see new people in this group, and we watch each other grow. It's just everyone's changing, and all the time. And I feel like again, this is not the first or the last time we're gonna have new guests. This is definitely not the first time, last time that we have Kari on here, Aaro, Brian. I mean, you're gonna see a lot more of these people, and it's just again, it's taken us so long to try to get back into this group. But honestly, tonight has proven that we've all missed this dearly, and it's just been a wild ride. So I mean, honestly, again,
nice.
Yeah. And to everyone who's like, I'm telling you, to anyone who's ever sat through one of these podcasts, thank you. We love you guys. I mean, honestly. It's just a great trip. But yeah.
Yep.
Take you for a ride.
So I think that wraps it up.
Anything else, Marshall? Do you have anything?
I'm gonna plug my OnlyFans. It's Krusty Toes 445.
I saw specifically toes.
Yeah. Crusty when I'm done with her.
You got the pinky.
Hey, you stop those offers are gonna be.
Yeah, nice in the description. You know.
Yep. Everything, all our stuff will be in the description. Follow me because Smash Player and I tweet funny stuff. Anyway, so yeah.
Get fucking gamed on, lol.
Get fucking gamed on, lol. Donald
Hashtag president.
Well, former president. Anyway.
We're not talking about that here. You need to keep your job.
I do to keep my job. Anyways, this was the Mass Up Podcast. I mean, once again, we're back. So, I mean, honestly, I hope we get to do this again soon.
We'll figure out a schedule.
Hopefully. Follow Twitter. Yeah. Anyway,
Twitter.
Hey, you'll find us anywhere. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. It's been very fun. Everyone say bye.
Bye.